see this.
We're doing what? Brains. Yes, we do it live. We want your brains. Um,
We're live.
we do it. Yeah, we're live. We do it live.
This is the 10th annual, 15th annual,
No,
20th annual.
fuck, dude. I always forget about that. I'm glad you're doing that. That shit is. Oof,
Oh shit!
completely lost. This is a. Fuck, it's 6, 7.
It's
This
the
is
10th annual Star Wars
10th annual Star Wars. Good. Um,
because we got the prequel trilogies, the original trilogy, and then we had the two, so that made 8, 9 for episode 7, and then this would be the 10th annual for episode
yeah.
8.
10th annual. And boy, is it something to talk about.
It's the best Star Wars movie, right?
Oh yeah, this is number one. You just take that number line and start at number one, and then you just flip it upside down, and that's right where this number sits. Because fuck this, dude. This might be the worst Star Wars movie ever.
Ooh.
Unfortunately, and it's funny because the plot is fine. The
Not
plot,
bad, actually, honestly,
the
but
plot was
yeah,
fine. Like, hey, we're out of fuel. This is happening. We got to go over here. Even the whole bit with, hey, we're gonna sneak off and we're gonna try and find this guy. Like, why does that guy happen to be right next door? Well, they did light speed. Either way,
yeah,
even all the plot was fine, but the characters,
yeah.
God, the characters fucking suck, dude. Excluding obviously Poe, 3PO, Leia, R2, Chewie. Couple honorable mentions, but every other character is
Did
fucking.
3PO do anything in this movie?
No, but she said, "Get that stupid nervous look off your face, 3PO."
Oh yeah, that was funny. And he looked at her like, "The fuck are you talking about?"
Right, that's the best part. He always
Like,
has that
how?
nervous look.
How do you make him look like has an expression, a literal expression, like confused look? How? I have no idea. Whatever they're doing with 3PO, man, they
I love it. Yeah, no, this movie had potential, I think, to be solid. Like, really.
I felt like a lot for me. Everything all like because there was a lot of cool moments, and I'm like, you didn't earn that, and I just don't know. I can't pinpoint what it is and why it didn't earn it. It
Right.
just didn't feel right a lot of the
Don't worry,
times.
we'll dive into it because I had similar feelings. That a lot of times they just did shit. And
Yeah,
it felt like most of the movie was written by someone who was like, "Wouldn't it be cool if this happened?"
yeah,
Or "Wouldn't it be cool if this happened?" And they didn't think about how the bits and pieces were supposed to connect together. And you can actually see that with a lot of the writing and a lot of like the story bits that happened.
hmm
Because it's some, and I don't know exactly how they decided to do this, right? Because there's many writing styles, many ways to construct a story, but it sounded a lot of times like they were like, "Oh, we need this." For example, we need Leia to be knocked out to cause this entire, scene and this entire turn of events to make this plot happen. Well, no, not plot. That's not part of the plot necessarily. It's part of the drama set piece. I don't know what you would call it, but
it's plot.
um, like, we need Leia to be knocked out so Poe can have his thing. It's like,
Yeah,
all right, cool. How do we do that? Let's just blow that shit open and she's in space and she pulls herself back in at the last second. What? Did you think about that? Like, did you think about, like, is that necessary? Is
but
there
it was
another?
cool.
It wasn't bad. It felt weird, a little bit out of place. I can see on a second watch why people were so mad about it. I don't think it's mad worthy, but I did feel a little bit more weird about it on my second watch through, which is honestly almost everything in this movie. Almost everything that I thought was fine in this movie the first time, I now have problems with, and like it lost at least 2 points from the last time I
Yeah,
saw it. Um, but yeah, it just felt like you didn't need to do that, just because it opens a can of worms with her force powers. It opens a you can survive in the vacuum of space questions. A lot of questions.
I don't think you immediately start dying in the vacuum of space. I think it takes a little bit before you freeze and die.
Right. Well, because
I don't think
she
it's
can't
instant.
breathe, so like I don't know how long she wasn't out there for very long, right?
Yeah.
Because it's frozen, you can't breathe. There's no pressure though. Well, there was a depressurization when she got fucking blown all to bits.
Oh yeah.
Um, so I don't know.
Will that just not knock you out for like a half second and then you wake up and you're dying? So she used the force? I don't know. I have
Right,
no idea. I don't know how that works in the vacuum space. So
right,
I'm
right.
not
And
gonna.
I'm not a physicist, so I'm not going to begin to question it. And it's
Yeah.
also a fantasy movie, and she used magic to pull herself in. So I'm not even gonna go there.
Right.
But it felt like they wanted her to be out, so that's just kind of let's just do it this way. And there's a similar scene at the end when they got kidnapped and when Finn and Rose are gonna die, and the fucking explosion comes in. As the explosion comes in, they're all together. Phasma, all her goons, they're all there. The shit blows up. They
Stop.
wake up later, and then Phasma and the goons are doing a dramatic walk-in.
Yeah.
Like the music's playing, like dun dun dun. I'm like, oh shit, it was like a fucking WWE intro. Like,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm like, were they not just in the room with them? So like, and if you look at the scene, all the other troopers have left except the ones who were dead. All the ships were gone except that one. So they ran away, not to somewhere that had ships to escape. Who knows where they were going? They went somewhere, then decided to bring the full platoon back to dramatically walk in the moment they wake up. It just felt weird. If they were going to escape, they would have escaped. And these are the kind of nitpicky things that I don't normally notice. But I think it's, again, same thing as the first movie. There's so fucking many of them that it's like, it becomes so questionable that I'm like, I can't keep giving you a pass. Because little shit like that, it's like, hey, we want this to happen, but we don't know how to get there. And then it's just like, for example, Rose. I think that's the entirety of Rose's character. Fuck that character, by the way. That character's awful. I think she could be removed from the movie entirely, and it would be
100%.
like twice as good. Because not only was she just, I don't know.
I think the actress did pretty good with what she had.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying the acting was fine. But it was just weird because, like, she shows up and she's I don't know, a plumber. I don't know, a gearhead, something.
She's an engineer.
Something, but she knows everything about all the newest hyperspace travel tech.
Yeah.
And I was like, that seems a little weird. And then they start talking about how the interworkings of something goes. Finn knows all about it, and then she knows all about it. They start finishing each other's sentences, and then they're buddy-buddy. And I was like, what? And then they go to the room, and they had a full, detailed printout of Snoke's personal dreadnought. Down to, like, the not millimeters, but, like, the feet. They saw this entire, like, zoomed in, went through the whole machine, saw all the bits and pieces, and went to where this, like, who has that? I don't know, it just felt weird. It was just like, you're just forcing all this shit to happen to push things forward. And I don't like it. If you look, for example, even the dogs, like, when they first showed up, I was like, oh, look at those cool ice dogs at the end.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I wonder why, and then I, like, later on, I was looking at them. I was like, "Why are they here? Is that just to make you sad? Like, look at the dogs are gonna die."
I'm sorry to interject, but like,
go ahead.
literally, when we got to the part with the ice foxes and shit, Kayla was like, "How do you hate this movie?" And I was like, "This shit right here is prime fucking example." Literally, I was like, "These fucking foxes. Why would they run into the fucking base?" Whenever the Empire showed up, why didn't they just run away? Now they're cowering in this base. Why? Because they wanted you to see. Oh, look at you!
Right.
Oh, the Empire's gonna kill all the foxes. No, they weren't. They didn't care about the foxes. They weren't there for the foxes. They were there to kill the fucking resistance.
Right.
Oh my god.
No, that shit felt really bad. And then like later on, I was like, oh, it wasn't just look at the sad puppies, they're gonna die.
They also found the escape route.
Yeah, they're gonna find the escape route. I was like, how much more plot device can you make a plot device? And then they run out the back, and Reyes happens to be flying by at the exact moment an entire herd of them runs out, which I don't know how the herd made it out when that one could barely fit through.
Why would she think because the herd's running out, that's where the resistance are?
She says, and I quote, "Oh, they're over there." And I stopped and thought. I was like, she's never been on the planet. She's never seen those foxes before. She doesn't know that, like, their foxes are related to the people. She doesn't see the people because they're underground. I was like, so the most I'll give you in that part is that
you use the Force to sense them. Like, that's the only thing I could see. But even then, what does that have to do with the foxes, and why should the foxes be there?
No, well, she scanned their life forms. I'll give her some credit. They were scanning for life forms, and they said they're underground. That means they have to be here. Or no, what was it?
Yeah.
We scanned them, but they're not here, so they have to be somewhere. So then she saw all those things running out of a crevice. So maybe she just made the assumption if those monsters are leaving this crevice, that means there's life in there or some sort of tunnel system. Maybe that's where they are. But she didn't say let's check out where they're coming from. She said
where they
are.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. Like, a writer will be like, "Well, I need to find a way to do that." Well, no, but you find a more actual reason why the foxes are there, or just
Right.
or that you can just make it like that's where the foxes made their home since it's an abandoned base, right?
Right. Which would make a little more
But that
sense.
wasn't really well established. I'd have to make that leap myself. So
Yes, and that's actually a lot of two stuff. Is the I have to like do jumped hurdles in my mind to say, oh, maybe this is what's going on.
yeah,
Because yeah, it's just I don't know. So much, and there's so much of it too. Like for example, Finn and Ray. That's one of my biggest issues. Like massive issues. Let's just go ahead and get that shit. God, this is gonna be a bitch session. Fucking strap in, folks. And the very fucking 45 minutes into the movie, I'm pretty sure, anywhere from 30 to 45 minutes into the movie, Finn had only said like 2 lines, both of which were Ray, where's Ray? Gotta find Ray. Where's Ray? Where's Ray? And it just makes no fucking sense at all. Not like because he woke up in the fucking thing in the little trauma
he
thing.
fell in love with Ray.
He knew her for
dude.
2 days at best. 2 days, and he was going to leave her on the second day.
She is the love of his life,
No.
Trey.
No. He was walking out on her. He literally was walking out the door. She even did everything. She said, please, you have to stay with us. He said, I'm not going to stay, and you need to get your ass out of here too. Come with me. And then she said no, and he said, okay, cool, peace. And he walked out that door. That was the last time they talked to each other.
But he came back for her.
That was the last time they talked to each other, right? And within this is back because I don't think I even mentioned this on the first movie. That was the last thing they said to each other. Then he sees her get kidnapped and decides he's going to put the entirety of the fucking rebels at risk because he was just going to go save her when they get there. You know how fucking ignorant that is and how it makes no sense? Because he gets there and he's like, well, you know where to go, right? No, I just wanted to save Ray. What? No sense. None of it makes any sense. And it gets even worse than this one. The only one I give credit to is when he woke up. Because he woke up, last thing he remembers is he's fucking dying, right?
Yeah.
So he wakes up and he's like, oh shit, is she okay? Because he went to go save her, was why he turned his back on dudes. So that totally makes sense in the moment. But then there's no technicians on staff either. So he wakes up and walks through the entirety of the base from the medical wing all the way down 2 flights of stairs around 6 fucking blocks to the pilot wing where Poe is, and is just oozing this water out of this suit.
Yeah,
Makes
that's
no
for the
fucking
jokes.
sense.
Because it looks funny, Trey.
Just, I mean, if you're gonna do it, fine, but do it better.
But it looks
That's what I'm
funny.
saying. Like,
He's
there's so
walking
many
around
things-
with this leaky bag. It's funny.
I get it, yeah. No, fuck you. Do it better. And it's like he couldn't have even said like, oh, where did we win? Did you destroy them? You know, is Kylo dead? Right? Like.
But he doesn't care about that. The only thing he cares about is Ray.
Which makes no fucking sense. It's
Because
just
she's the love of his life.
That's awful, dude. It's just fucking awful. And then like then the next thing he says, like he has another line, maybe 15 minutes after that when they're on the ship. Well, if we jump to light speed, how's Ray gonna find us? Where's Ray gonna find us? Like, oh god.
Really, like, yeah, you can see where I hate it because I was so excited for Finn. Oh,
Every
man.
fucking word out of his mouth, like. Not only was he shitty, Luke was also fucking terrible.
Like, I don't know where they're going with that because they also have Rose who also loves him.
Which is
apparently
fucking terrible.
So wait a second, you're trying to make a love quadrangle, a quadrilateral? What's the word?
Right? Love quadrilateral.
Uh,
I don't. Fucking...
love square.
Love square. Yeah, I don't know. Well, because it's weird too. Because even she doesn't make any fucking sense to me. Because she meets him, she's like, "Oh my god, you're a hero," right? Which I don't know how the fuck.
She thought he was part of the resistance. That one's fine.
Well,
she
yeah,
thought he was...
I'm not so mad on that. I don't think anybody should have blown him up to that proportion. But maybe that's just who she is. She just has like limelight status. Yeah. But then again, we don't know what happened on the planet. He came back almost dead, but they did blow it up. So if you just know that he went with the mission with Han Solo, like, wow, he's Han Solo's right hand man. There's something that it could have been more blown up because of that regard, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so she meets him, says, "Oh my god, you're a hero, I love you so much." Finds out he's trying to escape, and then as soon as she does, immediately tases that motherfucker, says, "No, I'm gonna put you in the fucking brig for treason, you piece of shit." Like, does just visceral, dude. Like, she was done with him. Couldn't stand his bitch ass. And then he's like, "I gotta go save Ray. I gotta go save Ray." Which, 1, 2, what the fuck was he gonna do? Did he even know where she was when he was hopping on that escape pod? Did he have? Where was he gonna go? Unless he had like photographic memory of that planet that he saw on the map or something. Like I don't even. How the fuck was he?
Well, no, his plan was just to get to safety away from the First Order and the rebels.
Okay, she's gonna find him. I forgot.
Yeah, he had the tracker.
Right. Okay, so that makes more sense. But so he's like, I gotta find Ray, and then I don't know what.
Yeah,
started the conversation.
she shocked him because he was trying to run away because he was a coward.
Right.
At least in her mind, he's a coward. Because all these people just sacrifice themselves. That made sense.
Right,
like,
no, I
her
like
sister,
that, and that was what she should have done. She should have held that mentality.
Yeah.
But within seconds of them riding down the hallway, oh, well, they're gonna do this and they're gonna blow us up. But wait, we're both super geniuses all of a sudden and know everything about everything. That's hyperspace technology. We can just go to the brig right now and solve this right now. Yes, teammates, high five, bam. And it's just over, like that's it. The course has just shifted.
Yes.
Then get rid of the whole fucking scene of him leaving. Get rid of the tension. Get rid of her fucking tasing him, and clearly on her face as a person, as the character you've established in the story, did not like him at that point. Maybe she's easy to forgive. I don't know. But it just, there's so many twists and turns and angles.
Funny when she shocked him.
No, even that line sucked. I get what they were going for. Yeah, I even had to tase 2 guys this morning. That was kind of funny. But I just, overall, it didn't make sense either. Like, that line didn't make... The line was funny. The line would have been good, too, if it was believable. That's kind of also the problem. They just break continuity constantly. Nothing in this movie is contiguous of, like, character motives, character personalities, the fucking world itself and the things that have already happened. None of it. It's like whoever the fuck was writing it said, you know what, we need to get from here... Like I said in the beginning, we need to get from here to here. How do we do that? They're doing this now. All right. Cool, they're doing that now. You know, like even when fucking Luke, because we had to get into Luke first. Before, let me make sure I don't miss anything on my shits. I did like in the beginning because there is good parts, folks. This isn't just a lot of bitch session. Most of it is because most of the movie's pretty bad. But in the beginning, they're fucking flying into the dreadnought. Number one, the dreadnought is fucking cool. Holy shit, that dreadnought looked sick. But when they're flying in. BB-8's beeping about something. He said, yo, whoa, happy beeps here, BB-8.
Yeah, I like that. That's funny.
Because he can't understand him, which I think they actually played that up again later, which I think was funny.
What are you doing? I think Poe understands BB-8.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Because he said, what do you mean, Finn, bag, what? Like, kind of. Like, he sort of understands
Okay,
him.
because there was something at the end of the movie.
I don't know if that line right there was supposed to be him not understanding him or just being confused as to what are you talking about? Poe is in or he was like Finn's in a coma. Oh, there he is. He's in a bag. It's popped. I see.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe that's it. Because I remember, who were they talking to? They were talking to somebody.
I don't think Finn understands droid.
Maybe it's Finn because somebody said something and then somebody repeated it in English for someone else in the room.
Yeah.
I can't remember.
I think it's Finn. I don't think Finn understands droid.
Gotcha. Maybe that's it. But yeah, no, that shit, the fucking thing was cool. Also, him toying with Hux was kind of funny, but it felt weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it was funny. He was like, "Put him on hold. I'll wait. And I was laughing.
I was feeling the same thing. I was like, I kind of like that, but also it's, I don't know how to feel about that one.
Right, and I think it's funny. Because it's traditional Poe, and I fucking love it. He's one of the only characters this series has done well so far. And so I like it on his side. I think maybe I don't like it given the gravity of the situation or how it undercuts the tone of, like, the Empire.
Yeah.
Or I guess I think the First Order is kind of a stupid name. So
but they're the First Order.
First Order of what? The First
They
Order,
are the First Order.
They were the first people ordered to do something. I don't know. It's just the name itself.
They were the first people to bring order.
I guess.
The galaxy.
I
don't know. I have no idea.
It's not egregious. Like I said, if anyone's like, "Wow,
it sounds cool."
Like, if anyone's like, "Oh, he just shits on the name," it's not that I hate it or nothing. It's not like some egregious, terrible name, but I think compared to the Empire, it's just not nearly as threatening. But yeah, I think maybe that's what it was. Is that it completely undercut them? Also, it's because Hux played into it. I think was also the issue. I
Yeah,
would have
the
liked
First
him.
Order, they see themselves as carrying out the First Order of the Empire, which is to rule the galaxy and bring peace through control.
Huh. That's kind of cool. That gives it. I like that a little bit more now.
Yeah, but we had to look it up rather than it being in the movie.
Yeah, that's also true. Um, but I think the overall the fuck, what do you say? The problem was Hux kept going with the joke. I think it
Yeah,
carried on too long.
maybe. I think if it was originally he was just fucking with him, then he just cut it out or cut it off.
Right, and if he just started shooting him,
Yeah,
right? If he would have responded in a Hux fashion, I think more so.
yeah,
Because
they're making
the
him
first
more out
bits
to
were
be a
funny.
joke, like the butt of jokes in this one. So,
I actually didn't catch too much of that because I wanted to mention that to you as well. There's two things from our previous video that one was I didn't see Snoke as a giant because if we can assume Kylo's 6 foot, maybe Snoke was 6'4", 6'5", when he was talking to him in the throne room.
mhm.
And then two was what do you call it? You were mentioning that you remember him getting beat up and thrown around forever, and it looked like too much.
Yeah,
I thought it was okay. Now him sliding him on the floor was a little bit like, why'd you have to slide him across the floor? You already had him choked up on the other side of the camera. Why did
yeah.
you pull him to the other side of the projector?
What was that about Snoke being a giant? Jonas, he's not a giant,
Well, you mentioned him
right?
being a giant in the last video.
You mentioned him being a giant.
Did I
I
mention
said
him
he
being a
wasn't a
giant?
giant, and it was just a hologram.
Right. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
No fucking way. I completely misremembered that. Because I know we were talking about it, and I thought you mentioned something like, yeah, he's bigger than something, but maybe not. Maybe. Because I know I thought he was a giant at first, but then I remember we talked
I know
away from
you
that.
were like, well, he's a giant, but he's not, and I was like, he's not a giant, it's a hologram. You're like, yeah, but you don't know that. I'm like, yeah, we see it like dissipate, and then
Well, yeah,
you're
but
like,
we
well,
didn't know
maybe,
his actual size. So I guess what I was
yeah,
leading to.
yeah,
Maybe that's what it was. It wasn't something that you said specifically, but it was the sort of confirmation that we never got to in the first movie of his actual size.
yeah,
It was sort of ambiguous given the way the projectors and stuff worked in his showing in the
yeah,
first movie.
yeah,
So maybe that's what it was. Yeah. By the way, this is why I have notes if you guys are watching, because my memory is that bad. We did this last week, and I can't fucking remember shit. But but yeah, so he did kind of just fuck with them for a little bit, but I didn't think it was that egregious when he was fucking with
yeah,
Hux
yeah.
in
I
the
would say
throne
when
room.
I was rewatching it, it didn't seem as bad as I
Right,
remember it, but I guess in my mind it was like really like way worse. But I was like, oh, it wasn't that much,
right,
as I was making it out to be. But it was still like I didn't like it,
right. He did get
because I don't,
undermined more in the end, right?
yeah,
But I appreciate that he didn't get undermined because he wanted to. He was just literally his life was on the line, right?
yeah.
Because he clapped back. He was going to kill Kylo, which was pretty little
I
subtle.
thought it was really good, but I mean,
Um,
I wasn't gonna, but I didn't have any like, oh my god, he's gonna kill. No, I didn't believe it for a fucking second because of how the movie treated him. I wouldn't imagine he was gonna do it.
I think. See, I think that I don't know the people in the movie treated him certain ways, but I think as a character he would have done it. But they didn't give him the option. I would have rather, I guess, seen him try to do it, and then, I guess, get caught in the act or like fight Kylo or die. I don't know. But he did. It was too subtle for me. I think. Just the simple would it put his gun away on his belt.
Yeah.
Uh,
Well, he was about to do it till Kylo started getting up, and then he was like, oh, and then he put the gun away.
right. I wish he would have been like the way the scene was done. He would have been like closer to doing it, or like
Yeah.
tried it, and then he woke up and stopped him and killed him. Or I don't know. But he did try to like clap back though, because he was like, the fucking supreme leader's dead. We don't have a leader, pretty much undermining the fuck out of him because like he thinks he's even more powerful than Kylo was, and I appreciate that of his character. He was like, "You want to rule my army?" But
Yeah.
then he was like fucking choked him out and was like gonna kill him, and I was like, "Oh yeah, you don't want to, you don't want to fucking do that because he can kill you." So it's either be his number two or die. So
Yeah.
he didn't really have a choice on getting like undercut like that, but he maintained his personality and his strength in a way because later on, when dude's losing his fucking mind, shoot everything at that man, more power, I'm fucking like freaking out to
You
shoot
think
him.
you got him?
Yeah, he was like, "You think you got him?" I was like, "Yeah, fucking tell his ass, dude. He's acting like a crazy motherfucker." Um, and I really appreciated that. So I thought that was kind of cool, and I actually liked that dynamic because even though he's smarting off, Kylo didn't say shit to him. which I
Yeah.
thought was kind of cool because it seems like that's his army. Like they listen to him. I guess Kylo's technically the supreme leader now, but it seems like he's the one in charge. Really, he's the one
Yeah.
that they respect.
Yeah.
So I thought that was kind of cool that he got his moments back, but he pretty much continually lost throughout the entire movie.
Yeah.
um,
Uh.
but go ahead.
No, no, I didn't say.
Back to the
Okay.
beginning because I'm out of fucking. We're bouncing all over because you can usually tell when a movie's got a lot of juice or a lot of something wrong with it because we bounce way more than normal. Because if something's good, you just kind of ride that high all the way through. But they got smoked in that battle. That was one thing that was done really well. Until I guess they kind of shoved it in my face with Leia.
I will say, yeah. I just again, they do a really good job of making the First Order look like they're fucking not savages.
Ruthless.
Ruthless. There you go. That's the word I was looking for. It's really good. I like it. I like the war. The portrayal of their war is actually like really good. But
Right.
you're saying Leia, when she tells him, "We lost how many men?"
See, even that wasn't so bad. I
No, that's fine. I thought it was okay. They
was
make
just
like, if they wanted to the plot they had for Poe. I liked. I just think it should have been Leia instead of the girl with the purple hair, who
100%.
was trying to teach him that he's too much of a cocky shit.
I don't think she was even trying. I don't know. Her character.
I also don't like that she was like, you need to follow orders, and then she doesn't tell him the plan. Like, I know he got demoted. Yes, he got demoted, but he's clearly important. Leia even holds him in high regard. You should know if you're somebody who's close to Leia. Like, she, fucking, what's the word? Alludes to being fucking close to Leia, so she should know that Poe is somebody that Leia sees as like the future of the rebellion or the resistance, or whatever the fuck they're called, the future of the empire,
Right.
the republic. So she should know, and she should inform him. And he has a lot of people who look up to him. Use that to your advantage. Why are you trying to alienate him? It makes no sense to me. And then she created the conditions that made them want to rebel against the rebellion. Not rebel. Mutiny her, right?
Right.
Like, it was her own fault that she got mutinied. But yeah, if it was like Leia, and then if she like told him the plan, he doesn't like the plan, I think that would have made more sense. As a plot of trying to get him to calm down and not risk so many lives.
Right. No, and the whole scene, everything from start to finish, though, is just fucking terrible in that shit. Because even some of the stuff, like, I guess you didn't even care, I guess, but or maybe you didn't notice. I didn't. I noticed those. Fucking when she goes and talks to him, because when that bitch shows up, she says, what does she say? Oh, Captain, or was it not Commander or nothing? Because you've been officially demoted. Number one, she's just being fucking ridiculously rude. Because first she ignored him. She ignored him at first, and then continuously fucking just talked down to him and was a bitch for no reason at all, having no respect for him as like a person. But number two, this official shit, no. There's nothing official about it, because what happened was Leia grabbed him after he came back after blowing that shit up, had a personal whispered conversation with him in like a corner.
Yeah.
They walk back to the control center, or like the control panel, and then that shit gets blown up. I think it was within 3 minutes and or 5 minutes max. I'm gonna give you 5 minutes.
Wait, did she not
max.
demote him though? She did demote him, right?
She said that to him personally.
Yeah.
But what is the? I don't think it was official. She didn't tell anybody else that we saw. She couldn't have even had the time to like, what do you call it? Get it officially done. It just seemed weird for me that it was this big official thing.
I don't know. It happened off screen. Don't worry.
I mean, but there was so little time. That's what doesn't make sense. Even that one pink-haired bitch wasn't even on the bridge. So, like, if she's not even there, how can anyone else even know about it?
Yeah.
It was a personal conversation that they had, and I think it was Leia just trying. It's what I thought in the beginning was it's Leia trying to scare him, right?
Yeah.
Like, hey, you're, because then immediately, this is also the problem I have with it too, is she goes and whispers that to him, and then immediately, not even 3-4 minutes later, they're getting attacked. Hey, time to go blow some shit up. And I was like, what? That was the whole quote. That was the whole quote. You need to not blow shit up. I'm paraphrasing. But
yeah,
you need to learn to not blow shit up and solve all your problems. 3 minutes later, hey, want to go blow some shit up? I'm like, dude, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Permission to go blow some shit up.
Yeah, that's what it was. She smiled and giggled and said permission granted, and I was like, okay, so he's not really demoted. You know, she's just trying to let him know, like,
He's still technically demoted, but he's, she's trying to temper him. She's like, hey, don't be that fucking dude who just runs in guns blazing. Like, yeah, we're being attacked right now, so yeah, go blow some shit up. But don't run in guns blazing when we don't need to and lose a bunch of men. That was the whole point, and that's what they were trying to do, but it just fell flat on its face, I felt like. And
yes.
I just...
and I would, like you said, I would have liked it more with Leia, because that one character was just portrayed terribly.
Yeah.
Completely terribly portrayed. And it's sad because even her redeeming moments in the end didn't work. Like, oh, he's got a lot of spunk. I like him.
Yeah, because she's not redeemed at the end.
No, I was like, what do you mean? All of a sudden, like, you and Leia are buds, so you're redeemed now? Like, oh, he's got a lot of spunk. I was just teasing him.
Oh,
no.
You were actually good. You weren't just a scaredy cunt. Oh, my bad.
Right.
But no, like, no, you were being a rude bitch the whole time,
right.
And you could have won him over by telling him the plan, and that way he could back you up, and that just makes you look better in the eyes of the people who look up to him, right?
Right. And even too, even if he butts heads a little bit with her,
yeah,
his willingness after butting heads and remembering what Leia told him is going to help that sink in, right?
Yeah.
That's also what's going to make it better, is this idea that, like, he's butting heads, because even her character would have been fine even if it wasn't Leia, because that makes it harder for him to trust her. It makes it harder for him to want to listen to what she says, because he's like, who is this bitch? And I'm like, okay, cool, I like that. Yes, I would even be cool with that, because it's like, now he has to try and trust this woman who he's never met. Well, here's another problem I have with this stupid movie that just tells you shit and expects you to go along for the ride, is when she was first introduced.
Yeah, she had that. He was like, that's the Holdo?
Yeah,
no
right? The one from the Battle of such and such?
Yeah.
And it was just like, what? It just didn't work. I'm like, she's not. There's nothing that makes that.
And he also did. I don't know. Nothing he said or did like warrants the way she was like talking to him. He like came up to her and was like, "Oh, I know you're in charge. I think you should." Like he was giving her advice. Like I don't know if she felt some type of way about somebody who's a captain giving me advice.
Right.
What? Like well, clearly you should be in a position of leadership if you feel that way, because a fucking leader should always take advice from their subordinates, or not take advice, but like willing to have an open ear.
Right.
So like, yeah, no, she's terrible.
Right, and they don't even explain what makes her so great. That's also the problem. Because even if, like, let's say we're gonna believe this battle of such and such, what has she shown that backs that up? Right. Because she's some lanky, pale, skinny, purple-haired Karen-looking bitch. So number one, she's not physically impressive, right? I don't imagine she's going to handle a blaster very well. Like, she does not show that she's force sensitive. She has not shown inspiring leadership or commanding leadership with any of her forces. So she just hasn't shown anything. She's shown literally nothing that makes her an inspiring or well-respected leader compared to, like, what Leia showed in her first, 5 minutes on screen?
Right, yeah.
It's like, you gotta be kidding me. You know what I mean? Like, and for anybody who's out there gonna be, well, you just talked about her appearance. Appearance does matter. Why do you think that, like, action movie stars, like Rambo or fucking Black Panther or someone is, like, buff and attractive and strong
Why
and
Xena
commanding?
buff? Xena was buff.
Yeah, why do you think Xena was? She was very physically, impressive. It was like, oh shit, she's scary.
Have you seen Sarah Connor in Terminator 2?
Oh, baby. And then look at someone, for example, who's skinnier, like Sarah Connor. Or not Sarah. Well, she's pretty good too. But I was thinking Ripley.
Ripley, yeah.
Like, look at that. She's fucking skinny, pale, whatever. Like, I mentioned those things to discredit. What's her name?
Yeah.
And I use those things because if you're lacking these things, you're not, the female equivalent of tall, dark, and handsome. You're not Xena, right?
Yeah.
If you don't have this physical presence, then you need to have a commanding leadership, similar to what Leia had when she was introduced in 4. You gotta have something. This bitch had nothing, no redeeming qualities at all. And that's a problem. That is a big problem for how you're gonna set your story up, because you need to play off these characters appropriately. Because if she would have done really well and been a little bit commanding, a little bit assertive, and would have had like a good shit on her shoulders. But again, like you said, she told him the plan, kept him involved, kept people knowing about it, taking counsel, anything. Like, and look, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. Maybe we don't know what happened with her and Leia. Maybe her and Leia had a conversation in the 1 minute between the attack and him getting demoted, where she was like, "Hey, you need to. If anything happens, no, because I'm trying to fucking grasp at straws here." Because it wouldn't have made sense.
The movie makes you jump through hoops and make leaps for their terrible writing.
Right, because the most I was going to try and give it credit for was that Leia told her, hey, toughen him up and teach him that he needs to have respect for authority, right?
Yeah.
And then she would have been a bitch to him to make him sit down and shut up and understand that he's not the one who runs the show.
Right.
And that was her way of doing it. It's just being a bitch. So I'm kind of cool with that, right? If that was the angle you wanted to portray. But there'd be two problems. You would need to establish that character beforehand, and I would need to know that that's how she trains people. So me as the viewer knows, or at least let me hear the conversation with her and Leia. Because then I'm going to be like, oh, now I know why she's doing it, but he doesn't know, and that's going to cause tension, right? And then the viewer can kind of be along for the ride and wonder how they're going to respond, having access to, motives. But they didn't do anything close to that, and that's the closest they're going to get to like a pass. So it's just unfortunate. Which is funny though. I was looking at my notes, and those notes are very far down the list, and I was like, "How the fuck did we get there?" And I was like, "Oh, the whole Luke shit happened in between that." Because that was like the entirety of the movie was them running from the fleet. The next casino thing, but
we got Rey training with.
Right.
So our group is split up into 3 groups: Poe's group, Finn's group, and I was gonna say Leia. Rey's group. Right. Well, I guess not. Well, kind of group. She has Chewbacca.
So I guess we'll keep it that way, sectioned off, so it's easier to follow. That plot line, the whole ship plot line. Did we miss anything? It's fucking terrible. We discussed Finn and them. Yeah, we talked about Finn and them before they left. We covered Poe and his whole interaction. Oh, the end! The fucking end! Someone has to stay back and watch the ship. No.
Why?
No, they don't.
Why do they have to stay back?
Number one, I know for a fact there's autopilot, but number two, if it was never explicitly stated there's autopilot, all of them are in the fucking bay, loading the ships full of the people. They fly off, and she's standing in the bay. Who's flying it? And then
the autopilot.
Then she goes back upstairs. She goes to the control room and stands there.
Right.
She doesn't get on the fucking container. She's like,
I was saying, that's the case of like the writer wants her to have this crazy self-sacrifice and wants her to fucking. So she has to be on the ship to do it. So I can't find a good enough reason so she's gonna say someone has to stay behind. And that's gonna be enough for anybody who just comes in and watches this movie.
Ridiculous. Fucking ridiculous. And it's just you don't write like that. I'm sorry. You got to take forethought. And I get it. This was rushed, right? It was a new writer. It was completely like, hey, do this shit in, I don't know, 6 months, a year. I don't know how long.
It was planned. I mean, not planned, but he was already set to do this. I think. In advance.
Okay, so he had time to prepare.
I think. I mean, I can look up how long it took him to. It doesn't help how cocky this motherfucker was about his skill as a writer. That's what made it really worse. Like if he wasn't so cocky about how good of a writer he is, I'd probably be like whatever. Like he also talks down to people whenever they criticize him. So like if it wasn't for that, this wouldn't have gotten blown up as much as it did.
That makes sense.
But yeah, and yeah, people were talking shit to him and calling him a terrible writer, and yeah, he's gonna lash out for that. But bro, it's gonna look bad on you. Like it's not if the fans look like shitheads, they're gonna look like shitheads. Sorry, that's like yeah.
And it's just
no one's gonna remember the fans. They're gonna remember you being a dick to fans. That's
right? Because fans are
remember.
nobodies on Twitter.
Exactly.
You have a name.
He's about to be 50. Ryan Johnson. I just look it up. We keep talking about.
Okay. But yeah, no, it's unfortunate too because it is bad writing. Almost every turn of this movie is just fucking like plot device. You know, we're going this direction. Characters are all over the place, it really just feels like every scene was wrote as its own scene. Like nothing took care of the scenes that came before or after it unless it had to. And even when it had to, it didn't sometimes. So that's kind of, I think, what really fucked this writing up, is that it was just every scene felt really self-contained. But, Jay, I'm going to give you this credit, though, back to the movie. That scene where she fucking took off light speed through the destroyer, oh my god. That shit was so good.
That was really visually, it was impressive.
Oh yeah, visually that shit
really
was fucking awesome.
Hey, he wrote Breaking Bad. I didn't know that. Oh no, he didn't write Breaking Bad. He directed 3 episodes of Breaking Bad. I take it back. But he wrote Knives Out. That's pretty good. He started working on The Last Jedi in 2014, and it came out 2017. So that means, when did they start filming? Probably 2015.
He had about a year, I would say.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know. A year, I think, for. I think
Jon Favreau only wrote Iron Man 2 in 3 months.
Yeah, I was gonna say a year seems fine to me. Yeah. Because you also you're playing off the back of number 1 too.
Yeah.
Like you have all your characters, you have all their motivations, you have all their skill sets, you have the fucking Star Wars franchise, so you don't even have to make anything up as far as like tech or world building or anything.
Yeah.
It might be one of the easiest things to write.
Yeah.
Now maybe that's why it's so shitty. And not shitty is such a mean
He's
word.
written good stuff before. He did Knives Out. That's a really good movie.
But what I'm saying is maybe he didn't put any energy into it.
Maybe.
Because it was so easy, air quotes, or maybe because he felt so pigeonholed. It's like, oh, it's Star Wars. Does he watch Star Wars? Is he a Star Wars fan? Does he get into it? And that's big questions that need to be asked too, right?
Who knows? I don't know.
Because if you're just
it's his generation, right? He came out when he was like.
Yeah.
He came out when he was a teenager, or like a young boy. So, the original Star Wars, at least. Because
if you're not really, if you don't care about Star Wars as much, and you're just writing like if someone, it almost feels like the way the writing is in this movie is a cheap action film. Not cheap like in cheaply made, but like just cheaply written action film. Yeah. Like, hey man, there's actions, there's explosions, they're going over here now. Hop in this car, we're fucking going.
Yeah.
And then it's like if you look too at the character development is exactly like a cheap action film. Hey, we're here. I met this damsel in distress. I've known her for 2 days at this hotel while I'm doing a secret spy mission or something. Ah, take me. And then, oh my god, the betrayal or something. And then, boom, the big action scene happens, and then the fucking feels are there, and then the movie's over.
Yeah.
It almost has a lot of hints of that shit. But it's not. You don't write movies like that. No, not like this. Not these kind of movies.
Yeah, no.
But the characters. Let's move. What else do we have on that? I think that scene's over for their kind of group. Let's move on to Luke, I guess. Because Luke was fucking awful.
Or moving on from the
beginning
from Finn and his group, or are we going to talk about that last?
Finn and his group should be last, I think.
Okay.
Because chronologically, because chronologically they're about on the last part.
Yeah.
So I think because it's just easier this way, I guess.
Rey shows up. Tries to give Luke the lightsaber, and he just walks, or he grabs it, looks at it, and then throws it behind him for the
weird.
For the laugh.
That scene was really weird.
It's for the laughs. It was funny. He threw it.
That scene sucked.
He like threw it away like it was garbage.
That scene sucked. He looked at it like he'd never seen it before, like he was confused.
But subversion, Trey. You thought he was gonna be like, I haven't seen this lightsaber in years, and he just threw it behind him like it was trash. It was funny.
No, it sucks.
And then the little porgs like kicked it. I'm like, what's this?
Now that shit was fucked up. One of them was looking in down the hole, and the other was stepping on the fucking power. I was like, oh, no. He was about to roast his fucking buddy. I
know, that would have been funny.
That would have been fucked up.
That would have been funny.
It would have been a little funny, but it would have been fucked up too. He was like, poking. What's this? That's like cartoon funny. You couldn't have got away with that and how serious the tones of that scene was.
I think it could.
But yeah, the whole thing of him throwing it behind was just bad.
Mm-hmm.
Because it didn't... Why? Right? Why? That's the problem. Why would he do that? And, like, everything throughout the whole movie, all his interactions, all his dialogue, all of it just fucking sucks. None of it is Luke at all. And I was really pissed about it through the whole movie, but I'm going to dial it back from, like, an 8 to more of, like, a 4 or 5. Because I gave Leia credit that I didn't give Luke. Because Leia in this movie is not the Leia that we remember. She's not. What do you call it? She's not like gung ho. She's not this, action hero almost. She's not snappy or sarcastic. She's lost a lot of her spunk. She's rested. She didn't make sense. Naturally, she feels like what a woman would become in her years after seeing all the stuff she saw and all the battles she's been through.
She's wise.
Huh? Yeah, she's wise,
wise.
right? I think she's still got the spunk in her, right? And it was funny that when she met Luke, right? She said, "I know what you're gonna say. I changed my hair." That shit was so funny, dude. I love that line because that was a bit
it's
of like
good
the
line.
sarcasm I
It's
expected
a nice,
from Leia.
yeah. I miss that sarcasm.
So she was good. And
That
then
look
even
off
when
her
she was
face.
like when she did her little laugh, even and this is again
Yeah.
I don't like how the purple hair trick was portrayed, but when she mentioned that to Leia and Leia says, "Yeah, I like him too," and I
Yeah.
liked that a lot because that was the kind of like sarcastic, kind of like cheeky, "You're dangerous" and whatever. It was how she would treat Han when she first met him, I think.
Yeah.
It was more respectful as like a commanding officer, and she was more close to Poe, I think. Not like compared to her husband, but in that sense, she knew him
Yeah.
then versus other commanders in the army.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but so yeah, there were certain lines that she just still had hints of herself, but she felt like an older version. But some of it came back. I wanted more of it, but it was good. Um,
They
for
probably would have
Luke,
gave us a lot more Leia in the third one, but you know what happened. So,
right? And then
unfortunate.
spoilers. Dude.
What?
Well, they don't know what it spoiled, so they don't know what happens. But
No, the actress. What happened to the actress?
oh yeah, that part. That is sad. It's okay.
She
They
died
could use,
before they. Wait, did they start filming?
I think they got some film done. That's just why
Okay.
it happened. But they could have
I
done
thought she
some
was
more
in-
CG stuff, like they did. What's his name? They did
Yeah.
actually some of it, I think.
I think she's entirely CG in the movie. I don't think they started filming because I think
really?
she died like shortly after Last Jedi came out.
Oh, I see.
I could be wrong though.
Right. Maybe. I guess we'll get there whenever we'll see like the
Yeah.
next one. But what do you call it? Yeah, Luke just didn't feel that way. Luke felt fucking terrible. But the credit I'm gonna give back to it is we haven't seen him in what 20, 30, 40 years. I don't know. I think
Mhm.
timeline wise, it's been like 10 or 15. Maybe.
No.
Do we have a
Kylo?
definitive answer?
I can find it. It's on the internet.
I was gonna say, because how long ago did they have kids, right? Because I don't imagine they just went off and had kids at the very end of 6.
What's the name of the first one again? Force Awakens.
Force Awakens?
That's the name of the Force. The
That's the first one, yeah, I think.
Awakens. Time line.
Because they look like they're 50. Like, I think I would put Luke at 50, 60 years old.
34 years after the Battle of Yavin.
Okay, it's 34 years. Well, wait, when's the Battle of Yavin?
That's the
Oh yeah, it's Yavin. Oh, it was Yavin
Is
something. I thought.
it's Yavin. Endor
Yavin
is
4?
the Endor is the moon. Is Yavin's moon,
Right.
right? Or is Yavin the moon of Endor? Hold
I don't
on.
remember, but I do know what you're talking about.
Yavin
So, 6.
4. Oh, never mind. Where's Yavin? Hold on. What
I
is
remember
this?
that name from the games. I think Yavin.
Yeah, I don't remember.
But I remember it from the movies. I know Endor was. I think the.
That's
That's
where
6.
where the what's it called live.
But Yavin was.
What are they called?
Ewoks.
Yeah. It appeared in It's where their base was. That's what it was.
I thought it was
In,
on Hoth.
No, the first base.
Oh, the forest
had.
base.
Yeah, the one that was in the first episode or episode 4.
All right. Okay.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't know that. It's actually they filmed it in the ruins of an ancient Mayan city in
Ooh,
Guatemala.
that's cool.
I like that. That's George Lucas for you.
Okay, so and they were about the same age. So 38 years, you said.
Yeah.
So 38 plus
34.
34 years plus they were 20 around then? Anywhere from 16 to 20? I know Han was older.
I can look up how old Kylo Ren is.
Not important. It's been long enough that they're old. They would have changed dramatically.
Yeah. Kylo's 29. during the Force Awakens.
Oh shit! So,
I
damn.
thought it was his mid or early 20s. Rey's 19.
Wow, I didn't know he was 29.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not ancient or nothing, but he'd been training with Luke for a while, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it does make sense that that's how old. So that would have made him. If he's 29, and Han and them would have had him at a certain age, so they're got to be at least in their 50s.
My boy was 30 trying to hit on this 19-year-old.
Shit, it's okay. In Force years, that's different.
And in Force years, yeah, he did use some Force for that one.
Oh man.
Yeah,
Well, I mean,
30
shit.
years after the Battle of Endor. So
Shit, look at Han. I mean, Han was what? Had to have been fucking early 30s, hitting on the princess, and she was like
okay.
18,
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
and everyone's fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
Shit.
I think he was 25. I don't think he was fucking 30. I know the actor was like 30. But
Okay, I'll give him 25. Anyway, so yeah, here's the short story long. Back to what this thing was, is that Luke was just a completely different character.
okay, you're right. It's 10 years. They have a 10-year age gap. Same as Kylo and Rey. Fair. That's fair.
But times have changed, you know. What do you call it? But yeah, Luke sucks. Luke's whole character sucks. It's not very like. It doesn't make any fucking sense. I don't know
Luke is
why.
a great character.
Like no,
Maybe not in this movie.
we don't get any of the Luke I remember at all throughout the whole movie.
No, none of it.
Until the very end, I get
Wait,
it.
you don't remember episode 4 when he was drinking that blue milk or green milk?
No,
Oh, right.
I don't.
What was I thinking of?
And that was a weird scene too. It looked like he was a feral monster. Had that shit sprayed all over his beard and everything.
Yeah.
Why? And then even the intro scene. What is that fucking weird intro scene where he's
funny.
he does this like weird montage where he's like fishing and going over mountains and uphills and the uphill both ways in the storms. Like, what is this weird montage they do when she shows up?
To show. Wait, her montage or his montage?
His montage that she followed him through all these things that he did.
To show his day?
It's
I don't know.
stupid. It's just, it just makes no sense. I didn't get anything more about the character that maybe he's like a weird. They were trying to show he's like a feral.
He's a hermit. He's like Yoda. That's what they were going for. At least that's what I think they were going for. He's like a weird Yoda, or not a weird Yoda, but he's just like Yoda was in episode 5, where he's like a weird, strange old man.
Oh, so that's what they were going with the whole through the lightsaber behind?
Maybe, but like him being weird as shit and eccentric is probably because they were trying to go for that same Yoda vibe from episode 5.
I do remember they were copying everything from.
Basically, yeah, they were hitting the same similar points.
So maybe that's
But
it.
instead of like Yoda, who had kind of hope, he was more defeated and was like, "There's the Jedi shouldn't exist." Blah blah blah.
Right.
They created Vader.
Now I like that bit.
It goes in line with what I was saying, so I liked it. But it didn't seem like that's what they were going for me.
Right. So yeah, I like
they're-
that line. What he said, what you said about the.
Yeah.
He said they're entitled. You don't know their history. You don't know anything about the Jedi. You don't know this and this. And I was like, damn, he's right. Because he didn't know that, right?
Yeah.
That's what
he
makes
didn't
it
know
cool.
either.
Like he just thought, oh man, the bad guys took over and they just
Yeah.
corrupted my dad, and the world is all sunshine and rainbows. And then when he realizes what the fuck's been going on, it's like, oh shit, the Jedi aren't these, mythical heroes like everyone thinks they are. They're people.
Yeah, and they're flawed.
And, yeah, they've made mistakes. They've abused their power. There's all these things that have happened.
Yeah.
That it's dangerous. It's power for power's sake. It's just dangerous. Period. Depending on whose hands it is in.
Yeah, but he made that temple, started trading Kylo, but then he tried. So fucking dumb. I sense darkness in my nephew. I must kill him. Okay, no. He did have that moment where he was like, maybe I shouldn't do it, and then that Kylo woke up and it was too late at that point.
Dude, this scene though, when the scene that he showed Ren.
Yeah.
Luke with the red eyes. Ah!
That shit was funny.
I was like, I looked at it, I said, there is no way that's exactly what happened. I'm going to need to see a different shot.
I want to see it from Luke's perspective.
Right. Because that shit was way too dramatic. I was like, get the fuck out of here. Um, but yeah, I don't know though. It also go even if like, because the way that Luke's perspective was a little bit more understandable, but it didn't make sense for his character.
Yeah.
He's the same guy who literally watched his dad and knew the stories of how he brutally murders people.
I guess you could say it was a moment of weakness, but even that
No.
for Luke doesn't seem correct because
Right.
of the way how we know he acted around his dad. And
Right.
yeah, you could say, oh, but he almost tried to kill his dad. Yeah, he was in the middle of a fight with him.
Right. And
It's
he
not
wasn't
like his dad was sleeping, not even attacking him.
right.
He pulled his lightsaber out. It's very different. It's very different
And it would have been
situation.
better done that way, right? If him and Kylo, I think I mentioned something similar to this, right? When in the previous video, that him and Kylo were fighting, and then Kylo did some fucked up dark side shit or whatever, something too far,
Yeah, you
and
mentioned
then
something like that.
Luke defended himself, right?
Yeah.
That would have made more sense, because then the darkness pours out, and then he fucks him up and cuts his arm off or something. And then
Yeah.
Kylo feels betrayed. Kylo's like, what did you do to me? You chopped my arm off. You hurt me. I hate you. That literally, give me the Anakin line, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like all of a sudden, then he notices that's when Luke had made the mistake, right? Luke says, no, I used too much force because I was fearful because he let the darkness out and I didn't know what to do, so I panicked in our training and then I fucking
Makes more sense than sneaking into his room while he's fucking sleeping and thinking about fucking assassinating him. A young boy.
Right. Nothing
I
about
have to
that
figure out how
makes
old he was
sense.
in that. I have to figure out how old he was when he was trying to kill his nephew.
Probably 15, right?
Yeah, somewhere in there. They don't give out dates in these damn movies.
Which makes sense. Better for continuity that way.
Yeah, because you don't actually say 10 years ago I almost killed my nephew.
Right.
Like, right?
Then
Like,
people are
it
gonna
makes
get
sense.
Well, you said 10 years, but this and this, and like all the fucking, shitty fanboys are gonna go nuts and, ream you for putting dates in there. But yeah, so that, I like what you said though about, I guess, some of that with maybe they were trying to make him quirky and trying to do
Yeah.
like Yoda 2.0. That makes me feel a little bit better about it, but I definitely don't like it. Because the problem is we didn't know Yoda.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't know anything about Yoda. We just knew that he used to be a master.
Yeah.
So, and we also didn't know how long he'd been on that island, or that planet. So let's say it's been 1,000 years on that fucking planet. Like,
I was in his early 20s. So it was like 6 years ago.
oh, okay,
It's like 23, 24. So it was like 5 to 6 years ago that he left.
okay.
But yeah, it was when he left and joined the First Order.
Gotcha. But yeah, we didn't know how long Yoda had been there.
Yeah.
Anybody can go insane if they've lived in isolation for hundreds and
Luke
hundreds of
doesn't
years.
even live in isolation. He has all those like people that take care of the temple and shit.
Right. So it's
They can
like
interact with.
nothing about it makes sense. Because he hadn't been there for that long. Not only had he not been there for that long, he
At
has
most
other
it was
people
5
around him.
years, right?
Yeah.
Or
So
6 years.
it doesn't make any sense. Like, so much of it just doesn't. It doesn't work. And then we also, like I said, we knew who Luke was. You can't just fundamentally change the way a character acts based on a whole bunch of time has passed. It's just not good enough. And if you're gonna do that, we need to see that progression.
Yeah.
I need to know that he's changed over time. I need some kind of evidence, because all I come back to is that's not Luke. He doesn't say that. He doesn't act like that. And even if I'm going to give his consistency and I gave it credit to what he was, which I don't, but even if I went that far, even his lines were inconsistent with himself. Now, because he's like, I don't care. I want to be left alone. Leave me alone. Leave this place. Everything sucks and I want to be alone. I'm not helping anybody. I don't care about anyone or anything. And then Chewie shows up, and all of a sudden he cares. Like, where's Han? And it's like, are you fucking serious?
Well, he might have been trying to put a front with what's her face, with Rey, and then whenever Chewie shows up, because the humans' emotions are fucking dumb. You can lie to somebody over and over about how you actually feel, and then somebody you care about shows up in your life, and they're like, your brother-in-law just died, who's like a fucking big brother to you, right?
Right.
You'd be like, shit. That sucks.
See, I guess maybe he was pretending that's never gonna happen, right?
Yeah.
Because he was cut off from the Force completely. So he wouldn't have sensed their life force go out.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have. Maybe he's just in his happy little world, thinks that everything's fine.
Yeah.
Which it's not. I mean, he knew the First Order was there when he left. Like he knew the world was going to
I don't
shit.
think he would have gave up though. I think that's just some Dumbo like thing they decided to do for the writing.
Right.
I like that trope though. I like that type of character. The guy who's he's gone through this shit. He doesn't think it like he's lost all hope and shit. Like I like that character, but the way Luke is written, I don't think he'd ever go to that.
Right. No, because he would have been still fighting to get him back.
Exactly.
He would have been like, I know there's good. The line, I know there is good in him. Like what?
Yeah.
Well, then again, we talked about this earlier. How this movie just kind of writes shit.
Like I would imagine if Leia or fucking Han were the ones who gave up on him, I could believe that, and it'd be Luke telling them, "Your son isn't gone; he's in there somewhere."
Right.
And they're like,
I could definitely
yeah.
see that.
But
No,
yeah,
I could definitely see that, and it's just I guess we've kind of wrapped that up for the most part. But what does he do with this original Jedi texts? That's another fucking MacGuffin that I'm not happy about. What are these random Jedi texts?
They're the original Jedi texts.
No, would they have not?
Jedi
Bro, would they not have been with the Jedi Council and been destroyed when it was destroyed?
No, they were left behind in all these old Jedi temples. They're doing all this like kind of like a going back to kind of an old George Lucas idea where like it's a religion, right? The Jediism or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And there was different sects because pre-Catholicism, there was a bunch of different sects of Christianity and stuff like that who believed certain books, not certain some other books didn't, like kind of like denominations, but more extreme. They're a lot more separated. There you go. Than denominations are today.
Right.
And I guess that's where he was trying to go for. Like there's the Temple of Jeddah. Oh, was that the name of the planet? Jeddah from
Jeddah. I think it was Jeddah, where they blew it up.
Jeddah. There was the island that Luke was on was sacred to one order of Jedi and stuff like that. And so like none of them know what is the true, like I guess maybe they're going for like what ended up happening with the structure of Jediism as a religion became kind of like what happened, corrupted. It kind of became the same as like Catholicism, where it said, this is not good, this is good, these texts are bad, these texts are good.
Right, burn them all.
They burned, they tried to get rid of the texts that they didn't agree with and stuff like that. So it was trying to go back to how religion actually forms rather than
right.
top down.
And that makes sense too, because the Force is not something that's only Jedis can use, or only people who follow their teachings can use.
Mm-hmm.
So it would make sense that other people across the galaxy found the Force or became contacted with it and began to use it, and those people would be worshipped as gods, probably in some sects or whatever, And
exactly.
Jedi's the most popular one. But
so that's one of the only ones that that's one thing I took away from this movie and Rogue One with Jeddah and the temple that was there, or like the old statues. Like, whoa, what's this? And hinting to some stuff. And movies are still not movies. The shows are still trying to get into this because there's other Jedis that are showing up here and there now. So
makes sense. I'm on with the Force. The Force is in me. I'm on with the Force.
I like that guy. That guy was cool.
And it's great because he didn't use the Force ever.
Yeah.
So he's non-Force sensitive, but he worships a religion
He believes
through
in the Force,
yeah.
and he believes the Source. Yeah, he was like letting the Force work through him.
Right. That's kind of cool.
But not himself controlling it. It was more of a Taoistic view of the Force, where it's like you go with the flow and you just ride that wave.
That makes sense.
So,
so I like that more. Then I'll give those more credit. Then
I like that. Yeah,
I think it didn't work.
I didn't explicitly say anything. That's again, I had to go through those leaps, but it kind of is there because there's like, oh, here's these temples, here's these ancient texts. Wait, hold on. So it's kind of there, it's kind of not. Maybe there's some bonus material that was cut out. Who knows?
Right. And that's also the thing that
what was the whole deal with like, there's a darkness down there.
I have no fucking idea. And I was going to ask about that too. That weird, like, it got really weird for a good 20 minutes. Because it all started with, why are you here? What? I'm to the rebellion. Why are you here? And he like, what the fuck, Luke?
Right?
It's
I
just
don't
really
know.
weird. And then it goes from that into the whole darkness pit into the weird like horror movie mirror trapped in.
Yeah, that was weird.
No idea. No fucking idea. The only bit of that I actually really appreciated and really liked, and it gets more credit. Again, this is one of those things that I liked more given the third movie, that it kind of cleared up for me and made me like more, because I didn't like this scene as much in the beginning. Because at this point in the movies, if you're watching them as they come out, she was the unforeseen, whatever Jedi. She's the new Jedi savior, all from the light. Anakin. I don't know what they were going for, but something like that.
Hmm.
And then so, given what number three established, I really appreciated that he was showing her the Force and was like, feel it. And then immediately, the dark side was like, hey, we got lots of power over here. We can save your friends. And because when she comes back from it, that's what he says. He was like, it offered you something you wanted, and you didn't even hesitate.
Yeah.
And I really love that line, because I mean, obviously they didn't say these things out loud, but number one, given her history, and number two, given her desperation to be trained and to be strong and to stop people, it just felt really natural. I was like, fuck yeah. And it's sort of the thing that I love about her character is how easily she just goes to the dark side and how easily she can fucking like channel her emotional power to be strong as fuck. Um,
But they don't dabble in that in the first one at all.
nope,
Or
they don't
like,
do any of that. um, I put a lot of it together from the third one, and I kind of retcon it myself.
yeah, I'm gonna say, and like that's kind of it's been the whole point of Star Wars, anyways. It's very easy to slip into the dark side. So her having the pull doesn't necessarily is because she's a Palpatine. I don't like the like I do like where like, oh, Anakin was born with a lot of fucking midichlorians, blah blah blah. I don't like midichlorians, but whatever.
right.
That's the measurement we have for force powers. So Anakin was born with a lot of midichlorians. Is it genetic? Is that why? So okay, so that if we're gonna explain it that they're powerful in the force because of genetics, that okay, that's fine. But
I
then
think
we
so.
go, because he's more susceptible to the light, his family is more susceptible to the light. Really? Okay, that's fine.
I think that makes
Whatever.
sense, given fundamentals and how you were raised. That's a nurture
Yeah.
thing, not a nature thing.
I mean, the nurture thing, yes, but but they're trying to make it seem like it's a nature thing. Like she's a Palpatine, so she's more.
Oh well, that was
Uh,
retconned in the. I made that up. That was a retcon I made from three backwards.
okay,
Because we don't know that in number two at all.
okay,
But I think it makes sense for her character, given that she just wanted power.
mm,
Because she didn't understand the Force. Um,
yeah,
Even in that movie, self-contained, if no Palpatine stuff, she
yeah,
just knew that I need power, and he can give me that power. Because if he trains me, then I can go beat the shit out of Kylo and save everyone.
mm-hmm,
She was very short-sighted, very impulsive, and that's her character, kind of in a nutshell. I mean,
mm-hmm,
she even
yeah,
attacked. She even attacked him. Her first thought wasn't diplomacy. She went and attacked the fuck out of him when she thought that he tried to kill Kylo.
yeah.
So I think overall, her tendencies as a person.
Confronted. I don't think she attacked him, did she?
Yeah, she swung. Or
Mm,
no, she tried. She confronted him. He said, "You don't know what happened, or you don't know understand, or something like that." And then he explained what happened. He was like, in a moment of weakness, something something, and then I
mm,
think she attacked him.
mm.
But
Okay, fair.
he ripped off the fucking roof of that place too.
Yeah,
That shit was cool. He fucking just boom without effort, just ripped off the fucking roof. Um, that shit was really cool, and it showed how strong he was with like how effortless that shit was. Thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, I think her dark side tendencies make somewhat sense. Also, she's been a scavenger. She's literally been like living not as a bum, but kind of as like a roughneck, I guess, her whole life.
yeah,
So it's not like she's gonna have good morals in a sense. Not that she can't, but she's probably raised around liars, cheaters, thieves. I mean, even the dude she brings, hey, this is worth this much. I don't give a
yeah,
fuck what it's worth. Go fuck yourself, and if you don't want to starve to death, you'll come back tomorrow. How about that?
yeah,
So when you're when you're raised by shit like that, and then I don't think you're necessarily gonna always be gravitated to this like, yeah, justice and friendship will prevail kind of thing. Whereas Luke had really fucking solid parents, uncle parents, but he always had the best influence. I think that's
yeah.
gonna help him like that. Same thing for Leia. Same thing for a lot of our people. which is why Han's character was so interesting because it contrasted really well with their upbringing. Um, because Leia was all about justice, and he was all about like himself, but Luke was just wanting to be a good guy, but he didn't know what that meant.
Hmm.
He didn't know the sacrifices of being a good guy. So it's like all three of them were. It's almost like all three of them were different angles, and like the watching them play each other was really good. But this is not to hype up number four. We've already been there. That's why those movies are good, and why we've been bitching for fucking almost an hour and 10 minutes about how terrible this one is. But yeah, that shit. So the weird fucking horror movie scene underground with the parent thing. I don't know what that was about. Her pull to the dark side. I thought pull to the dark side was fine, but yeah, the pit. I don't know why it was a pit of darkness that just led to a pool of water.
Darkness.
Right. So that's some Wiggle Fingers shit for real. Um.
The Wicker Fingers. I miss that guy.
Fucking Luke. Was it when Luke? What else did he do before that? When he was training, that whole scene, fucking stupid. When he was training, he was like, "Reach out," and then she just puts her hand out. There's no way she misinterpreted that.
Right.
There's
Yeah,
no way. And even if she did misinterpret that,
But that was funny. It was for the kids. It's
No.
funny.
Even if she did, I'm going to give her some credit and say maybe she misinterpreted that. So she reaches her hand out. As a teacher, as someone who we know has been a teacher before, he has the history where he would know how to help guide her back. Say, no, use your feelings. He would continue to teach. Not
Yeah.
tickle her finger with a fucking thing and then
A read.
yeah, and then she like plays along. She's, oh, I feel it. I've never felt it. Like, no, she would know.
She's not even playing along. It's played off as she actually does feel the. She thinks it's the Force.
Well, that's what I mean when I say playing along. That like she would believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no way she would believe that. There's no way that interaction would ever happen with real people in real life. I'm sorry.
But it was
just-
funny, Trey. It was
fucking
funny.
sucks, dude.
It made the kids laugh.
You know what else fucking sucks? When Rey has that magic moment when they're talking in the hut after he does the weird shit. Why are you here? Then she's like, I don't know. I've always had this thing inside me. It calls to me. And I'm afraid. When? When have you mentioned that?
Never.
I just...
Now. She's mentioning it now.
Oh, my
Just
bad.
telling you
Sorry.
now.
It's been in there. You didn't think to bring it up at all in the last two movies at all. It's just...
But
it's been there. It's definitely been there.
It's only been one movie.
It's definitely been there the whole time. When she literally is like, what do you know about the Force? It's about you lifting rocks? Okay.
Yes.
But she's had this tug since she was born for years, and she's scared of this power inside of her that she also did not have until the end of the first movie.
Right.
Fuck that, dude. Fuck that. God, the more I think about this movie, the more, like, it's just bad. Like, this might be, like, and in terms of, like, media, this might be not as bad as She-Hulk, but this might be one of the worst movies I think I've ever seen. And not because it's a bad watch, or because it's, you wouldn't have a good time if you saw it. Because I actually had a good time when I first watched it. There were some things...
I had a decently good time. I had less criticisms of it the first time I watched it. But then the second time I watched it, I was like, oh, right, this movie is ass.
Yes, same. So when I give these critiques, it's not to say that it's unwatchable, right? Because when I say something might be one of the worst movies I ever watched, it means you would think, oh, well, that means it's so bad it's unwatchable or it's so egregious. It's like, no. But I'm rating one of the worst movies I ever watched on the fact that even bad movies, like regular C-listers, that you would just go watch that are like, yeah, it had a decent plot, forgettable characters, but there was some action scenes. Those movies are better than this. And the reason why is that because even though this movie might be more enjoyable on the first watch compared to even those C-listers, it's that this movie fundamentally fucks so much up. If your movie sucks because it's empty, like you just have these regular characters doing regular things and it's not that interesting, that's okay. As long as you got some good action scenes or whatever.
It's also because it's a movie inside of a franchise. It doesn't exist on its own.
Right.
So, like, it comes with some baggage that you have to kind of deal with. And if you don't, then you make a fucking movie that doesn't incorporate itself well into those other movies. Then by extension, it makes the movie worse.
Yes, that's a good way to put it too. That's another thing that's another thing that does play into this rating system or this idea of how we critique this.
Yeah.
because yeah, there's
If this wasn't a Star Wars movie, I'd probably rate it higher just because it's
yes,
because it doesn't have any consequences for the greater world that it has because there wouldn't be any other movies
yes. Also, if it
in
wasn't
that world.
using stuff from previous characters, right?
Yeah,
Because and again, this
exactly.
is and like I said when we started this, because the very first thing I had to say was the plot was fine. The characters
Yeah,
are fucking terrible. The characters and the writing are fucking terrible, but the plot was fine. So yeah, if you would have given me this a standalone movie and just added some characters that were kind of easily identifiable, kind of sped through some parts that would get me up to speed,
yeah,
yeah, this movie would be fine. But yeah, it has so much characters that from previous ones. It has so much, Star Wars lore. It has so much everything to live up to. And it also tries to do a bunch of things. That's the problem. It's trying to do these things. But if you just don't try, or if you just do it more cliche-like, I don't know, maybe it would have worked out better. But so much of
yeah.
it is they just don't even think. That's what it feels. So much of this felt like they weren't thinking when they even did some of this
Do you know
stuff.
the guy who wrote this one, or directed this one? He was gonna get his own trilogy in the Star Wars universe. We didn't know what it was gonna be, but
Thank
he
God.
was after the backlash they retracted that.
But yeah, so continuing on with the
Uh,
Luke shit
but
is
yeah,
that
whatever.
after the
Yeah,
whole "Why are you here" thing and like all her random thing that she's had inside of her for years,
yeah.
he's still adamant. Get the fuck out of here! Not training. Jedi are dead and gone, and shit like that. You need a teacher. And what? Just what?
Mm?
He's been so much on the other side of the fence. Just randomly, you need a teacher. Oh, you'll teach me? No. What? Why would you say that? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Even if he's like all this different emotion and everything, I don't know. It just I can't. But that was the last thing. Let's see. Where are we moving on to?
Him
Um,
showing up. Oh well, Ray leaving to go save the Resistance.
I think.
Uh,
Oh no, well, he meets R2. Um,
oh yeah, he
I
does.
watched the
Oh, he pulls out
subtitles.
the little the recording of Leia.
Right, that was a good one. I really enjoyed that scene. But one thing they
It was
said.
just that was a
Good.
low blow.
Yeah, dude, he said really. That was a low blow. That was a good one, dude. Um, but his subtitles, he says R2, Artoo.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't like that, dude. That's fucking weird. That like I was like, dude, do never make that canon. I don't know. I'm just gonna in my brain. That's
It's not how it's spelled in the subtitles like that for some reason, but it's not how
oof. I didn't like that
he
at all. I was like, I'm not.
he is
If
R2 like letter R number 2.
right, 3PO was THREEPO.
Yeah.
I was like,
So,
I'm not
for some
accepting
reason,
this.
whenever they do subtitles, like, they don't have the same team doing subtitles for Disney Plus, and so
That's so funny
yeah,
though to think about that behind the scenes, right? Behind the scenes of how this big machine works. And this is also why I think people don't give enough credit to these big studios sometimes. I'm not defending their shit execution on some of their products, but to put it in perspective, something like this, it's a good example of concrete how we can try and look at it. Is they were bringing these movies to Disney Plus in a new generation, everything else, and they needed subtitles. They have never had subtitles before. So I was like, oh, well, I guess maybe they had them in the DVDs for the ones that got released in
yeah.
like 1, 2, and 3. But for like these ones, they're trying to get subtitles in, so they have people who probably do that. The corporation is massive, so they probably have like either it's interns or people who employed by them who do things like a subtitle team, and that subtitle team may have never seen Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's not a
Maybe.
requirement to like all of
Mhm.
Disney's products to work for Disney. I'm sorry, or even if before that, even Lucasfilm, right? It's not a requirement to even enjoy the source material if you're working for Lucasfilm on something. So if they have a subtitle team and their subtitle team has never watched it or doesn't know and they're listening to them speak out loud, well, because I imagine that's how they do that. They listen to the movie and they write it down. Unless they follow the script and they just do it one from the script. I don't know. I'd have to look more into the process on how it's done because maybe they don't deserve credit. Maybe they had the script there or they had the name R2 there and they just spelled it wrong on purpose. I don't know. But anyway, if you guys can see where I was going with that tangent was that sometimes things are so big, not everybody can be a fan who has to work on it, and things get slipped through the cracks because so many people are working on this project at once. Little
Mhm.
things like that happen because there's other things. It's not just this something small deal because there's bigger
Apparently,
deals.
Sometimes it's written by the fans like that as well.
Oh,
So who
really?
knows? Yeah.
Oh, maybe that's
Whenever they're referred to by just their nickname R2 and 3PO, sometimes it's written out rather than just putting 3P and O and R2. But I swear I read it sometimes in the subtitles where they say R2 is
right.
they put an R and a 2 there instead
I
of
think
a
that was for
R2.
the prequel trilogy specifically.
Maybe.
But I know for well, honestly a fact, but I think maybe that was because those were made at the same time when subtitles were standard back then.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, maybe you're right. It could be just people do it that way.
I also don't watch shit with subtitles, so I don't really.
I like it. I don't.
It makes
I don't,
sense. Sometimes I do because Keely, like if you put on I don't know what it is about like PlayStation, but if you turn on subtitles on like Hulu, it turns it on all your stuff.
Really?
I swear because I never watched HBO with subtitles on, and I hopped onto it and I was like, why is subtitles on?
That's funny. Yeah, I don't turn them on for things that I don't care about. Like for example, if I'm watching a random movie on Netflix or something, like a random action movie or something, I wouldn't put on subtitles probably. But for things, especially given the fact that I'm trying to review this movie in a sense, I like the subtitles because it gives me extra depth. Also, I don't listen to my TV very loud. So it's like sometimes they just talk and I miss shit.
Yeah.
So a movie that I'm really interested in, sometimes I don't want to miss anything or have to rewind if like I don't hear something right. So I just put the subtitles on because I can look past them. I guess it's watching too much anime, but essentially subtitles don't fuck with me. I don't feel like I miss the action or whatever if I'm reading them.
Yeah.
Also, given that it's English, I may not even read them most of the time or sometimes. More of a peripheral thing. But yeah, no, I didn't understand this also line from Luke, the ways of the Jedi and why they need to be gone. That was a weird line. And it was off the back of I think the shit that I liked when he was like talking about all the failures of the Jedi and shit.
Yeah.
I appreciated that. But I don't understand the ways of the Jedi and why they have to be gone or destroyed or whatever. And like where does that come from? Nothing made sense, I guess. Like, why would he think that? There's no good. And then he goes to train her and bring the Jedi back anyway. By the end of the film, he's like, "Oh, I'm not the last Jedi," and I'm like, "Okay." So he was cool with bringing the Jedi back.
Yeah, by the end.
But what was stopping it beforehand? That's what didn't make sense before. Like,
I guess he believed that having any like person that could train a person to the dark side or to in the ways of the Force could potentially lead to the dark side. Like almost all the Sith come from a Jedi or something like that. At least as a normie it does. But if you're into the expanded lore, the Sith always end up training people from youth into being Sith, anyways.
Right.
So,
I mean, even the ones in recent history, it was always that.
As somebody who has like a cursory glance of Star Wars lore, so like just the movies, all the Sith come from Jedis, right? Except for Maul, who ended up being Palpatine and Maul, so it's half the Sith.
Right.
If we have 4 Sith Lords in total in all the movies outside of Kylo Ren,
only one of them came from a Jedi, just Anakin.
Dooku was a Jedi.
Dooku was a Dooku was a Jedi. I forgot. He's not a Sith Lord though, I guess. Well, yes.
Yes. He's Darth Tyrannus.
He didn't feel like a Sith Lord though. He felt like a Sith adjacent.
But in the movie, they call him a Sith Lord, so he is a Sith Lord.
You're right. But he felt Sith adjacent to me.
Palpatine says he is a Sith Lord. Everyone goes, Palpatine, Sith Lords are a speciality.
Huh. Where did they ever talk? Did him and Palpatine ever conversate?
Obi-Wan or Dooku?
Dooku.
Yes. There's a hologram message, or not message, but a hologram call that Dooku had with Palpatine in Episode 2.
So he was taking direct orders from him?
Yes.
Then who was taking orders from Maul?
Who was taking orders from Maul?
Or no, who was Maul taking orders? I said that backwards, but I was already committed, so I just kept
Palpatine.
So the Emperor was so. But what about the only 2 can there be? That was in the prequels. They established that, right?
Yeah, it was literally Episode 1. But
so
I guess they didn't plan. I guess they didn't plan to have Dooku in 2, but then or like he was gonna get a new apprentice between 1 and 2. But no,
dude, the Jar Jar Binks theory. Oh my god.
Or Jar Jar. But I mean, the Jar Jar Binks theory poses that he was already a Sith under the employ of Palpatine.
But he wasn't a Sith Lord. He was just an apprentice.
Technically, only two Sith Lord. Technically, yeah. I think it was Kodor that established this. That technically there can be multiple Sith, but the rule of two only applies to the Sith Lords. And I'm like, you. But yeah,
funny.
it's fine.
I imagine it's because they're not trained in the powers of the Force, right?
Because all the Sith can rise to Sith Lords. I think it was like the first Sith guy you meet in Taris was like, after I capture you, I'll be able to challenge one of the lords and become a Sith Lord myself. So
right,
yeah, whatever, it's fine.
Right. A little convoluted there, but I do think that's funny though to think about it that way.
Jar Jar could have been just a random Sith apprentice.
Well, I think he was controlling him in the beginning, right? That was the whole thing.
Oh, because
if you look at all of their interactions,
was the theory that he was controlling him? I thought the theory was that Jar Jar was a.
he was going to be. How do I say it?
He wanted to be a Sith or something like that.
Well, no, it was in the beginning. I think he was being manipulated because they show that like every time Palpatine is around him, or when he's talking to Jar Jar or some shit. Was it? Yeah, no, it was that Jar Jar was controlling people. You're right. I take it back.
So even if that was planned, there's the rule 2 still doesn't apply.
Yeah, no, even then.
Unless they have the ideal of only 2 Sith Lords can exist, but multiple Sith underlings can exist. So like Grievous, technically, because he's not a fucking robot. He's a cyborg, technically.
Right.
So he could be potentially a Sith, but not a Sith Lord.
And there may be a thing that distinguishes it on how much you can draw from the Force, right? If the Force is an energy source, like they kind of make it out to be.
Was Grievous Force sensitive?
I don't know. I don't think he ever used Force push or anything, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because that could be another thing too. Because that was I think that was why the rule was in place. Is that it was the 2 Sith or 3 or 4 or hundreds of them were all fighting for more power.
Yeah.
So they were all drawing from the Force, and they were fucking stepping on each other's toes. So they just started killing each other until there was none left, and they said, "Yep, this power is all ours. There can be no more." And it was more of like a suggestion because they were going to make Luke a 3rd Sith.
Yeah.
In 4, 5, and 6.
But that was before that we established the rule 2 because that came out.
Oh, that's true. Before. That was thing in number 1.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess if looking at it that way, it's a suggestion of 2, right?
Yeah.
Because if enough people start taking Palpatine's power, he's going to get pissed and go kill him, right? If that's how it works, I don't believe this whole energy source idea of that the dark side is an energy pool that they share from.
Yeah, me neither.
And the light side would be what? A pool that gets stronger when you work together because more people are adding to it, not pulling away from it.
Technically, yeah, that because the Sith fight with with selfishness, and the Jedi are supposed to fight with selflessness. At least that's what Anakin said.
Mm-hmm.
So technically, yeah. Maybe that's why they got so weak by the end of the prequel, because a lot of them became uppity and selfish, and
maybe
they weren't acting out of selflessness and love for the general universe.
Right. So they were drawing on the dark side, didn't even know it.
Exactly. Maybe.
That
goes more to my headcanon, so like I like that, but who knows?
Right.
We were talking about Luke, and his whole the Jedi shouldn't exist. The Jedi should exist, and
how they come. He thinks they all come from Jedi.
Yeah.
Which I don't even think he would have known about Dooku. Maybe he would have. I don't think he had enough exposure though to make that a commitment, because he even saved his father.
Was it technically yeah, true.
So it's like he didn't even have that.
But he saw Kylo turn, and then all the darkness that Kylo wrought, and he believes that Kylo will turn back to the light, but it causes eventually. But it in between, he causes so much tragedy and darkness.
Well, he said too though that Snoke
if no one had this power at all, maybe that no one can ever wield some kind of great darkness to hurt people anymore. Maybe that's why they don't ever rationalize why he fucking doesn't want the Order to exist.
Well, because he knew about Snoke though, right?
Yes, but we also never get any explanation on Snoke, so it's not like we can rationalize anything out of that.
Well, because he knew he was a Sith Lord, right?
Yeah, but he was old enough to maybe Snoke was a survived Jedi who fucking whatever. He could have made some of his own leaps in logic, but again, this is me making leaps in logic. For
Wow, the
that.
leaps in logic go so deep that we have to do our own leaps, then make the characters make their own leaps.
Yeah, so
That's
like
pretty bad. Oh.
and they were like the writer was like, the Emperor didn't have any an explanation. Why should I give an explanation for Snoke? I mean, but
The Emperor, like,
it helps. It helps us draw conclusions. If you're not going to
right,
give us answers to anything, how were we just supposed to just make giant leaps in logic?
right, and this is not the first of a movie.
Yeah,
You can do that, just like with Yoda. It doesn't work when you just fuck up Luke's character and tell us to take it. When you just add this random guy into a universe that's existed for hundreds of years, here he is. Why? Where?
So
From
he
how?
knew. Yeah, so he knew about Snoke corrupting Kylo's mind, or maybe he was because the line exactly was that Snoke had already corrupted his mind.
That's
Maybe
what
he
he
learned
said,
about
yeah.
Snoke later, and then retroactively added this into it.
Oh, I see, I see. So he just thought that he trained him as a Jedi, he turned evil on his own volition, and
And
then...
then learned about Snoke, and then said, "Oh, Snoke was already in his mind at that time."
Right, right, right.
Um,
Okay, that makes sense.
so
Now, speaking of, though, by the way, where the fuck is this evil that Luke talks about? Because Luke mentions...
evil.
He said, what did he say? His darkness was already so strong. I'd never seen anything like it. Just death and destruction. Like how evil
He
this
saw
fuck...
the future.
Like, he said he saw some fucking awful, fucked up evil in this guy's mind.
Yeah.
And we've spent the last 2 movies watching him be a softie. Like,
Right. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he killed his dad, but...
I feel the pull of the light.
Right. He's sitting here crying, I feel the pull of the light. He won't shoot his mom. Even now, even after killing his dad, he refuses to shoot his mom. He doesn't want to hurt Rey all of a sudden. Like, what? He's been nothing but a softie for the last 2 movies, and this is after...
But he allowed Starkiller Base to blow up planet.
Boo. This is after he's been training and trying his damnedest to be a Sith for 6 years?
Yeah.
He spent the last 6 years actively trying to be evil. So, we can imagine it's increased, what, 10-fold? 20-fold?
Maybe Snoke was already in Luke's mind and made Luke think that Kylo was evil.
Oh,
and maybe he made Kylo see Luke the way that he explains it to Rey.
oh my god. You know what? That's actually really good. I'm mad.
Because
Because that's the stupidest shit I've ever heard, but I love it.
But the thing is, I have to make those leaps for the movie.
But that sounds really good, though. I like that. Like, secretly Luke was being controlled, and Kylo never was a bad guy. Ooh.
Exactly. I was like, but the movie doesn't explain these things, so
That'd be
it's not
really
canon.
cool.
I have to make that shit up in my head for his shitty writing. I'm sorry, Ryan Justin. I love your movies. I love a lot of your movies. If you are listening, I doubt you're listening.
Oh man.
My God.
That's a
Knives
good
Out,
one, though.
Great work.
I found a couple things we missed in the other sections. I guess
Glass Onion. I just recently watched. Very good.
so I'm gonna roll past these before we move on, but because they're in my
Yeah.
chronological order.
Yeah.
What do you call it? Oh fuck, where is it?
We're still in the Luke group, right? Like,
Yes,
we're
but
talking about
we
Luke
missed
and
something from
Leia.
the ship group.
Oh, okay, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead.
It's what do you call it? I guess I mentioned it, how they're just fucking experts. But when they first meet, they won't realize it's off for one system cycle. When they're talking...
Oh, right, with Rose.
Yeah, and I was like, what? You can't even know that. I was like, no. I was like, there's nothing that would make you be able to know that. Even if she was a master of the newest and hottest technology of super duper light speed tracking, they're not going to know for one cycle. It's about 6 minutes. How? It's too much, man. Little shit like that is too fucking much. You can't
that technology is so vague. I gave it a pass because I was like, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I'll leave it alone. So,
dude, it's just too much.
like, there could be some sort of systems where like, oh, it only updates every so and so. So like that's why she said, or every what would they say? 2 cycles, 3 cycles?
1 cycle. It said they won't
so
realize
like,
it's off for
so
one
maybe
system
it updates
cycle.
every 1 cycle, so that way that's how they know. But it's so vague. I don't care.
Fair enough.
At that point, it's like the parsecs. I don't care.
The parsecs. That's funny.
I mean, parsecs is a thing in our world, sure, fine, but like, I I was a child, so I don't care.
Right. And when they're sitting there meeting, he's like, when they're sitting there talking in that room, randomly Poe turns around. How'd you two meet? What?
It was funny. It was a joke.
Why would he ask that?
It was funny.
No. Why the fuck would he ask that? Like,
Because she's an engineer. She's a mechanical engineer. Wait, no, she's not an engineer. What is she?
I don't know.
She's a mechanic. Wait, hold on.
She's just maintenance. I thought she's down there with a wrench. I don't think she does anything that important. But
yeah, she does maintenance on stuff.
I guess. No.
So what would Finn be doing down there?
Yeah, I guess maybe. Like, how would you? I don't. It's not impossible. They're on a tiny ass ship.
It's not important to like what him asking them that is not important. Like why would he ask that? Like
you're right. Like,
how did you two meet? Like
it's also right. It's not even uncommon either. They're in a tiny ass ship.
Maybe they were both on break and they were having a cup of coffee and they were talking about something, and then like they're both in the break room. Who knows?
Right.
Like what?
And they weren't showing romantic interest or anything, so it wasn't like he could be joking about them. So how'd you two meet? Or so, you know what I mean? Like he didn't even. Yeah. There was no even an angle for that.
Like, what are you talking about? There was a love angle by the end, right? A romantic angle.
We're gonna get there. Trust me. God, there's so much trash to dig through in this movie. My fucking arms are gonna get tired. And speaking of, he's literally Ray. I gotta leave. Ray, I gotta save Ray. Oh my God, Ray, sucking Ray's dick for
setting up this love. I'm not gonna say square. I like quadrilateral.
This love quadrilateral, but then immediately after they figure this plan out, he's like, "Fuck it, we're going in." Like, what? Just completely just threw that shit out the window. Just nope, fuck it, dude. Who cares if Ray shows up and we're all dead? I'm going in. Just
because at this point he's all in on the rebellion. That was Finn's character arc. He wasn't in on the rebellion yet. He just cared about Ray, and then by the end. I'm all for the rebellion now.
The word you use, character arc. Wow, I would have never used that to describe that character. But
it was a character arc. I wouldn't say it's a good one, but it was a character arc that they chose for Finn.
It wasn't even personified.
I thought it was already done by the end of the last one. But
if you call a character arc just him doing stuff that seems out of character and saying this is him now, then sure. But fuck that, dude. I won't even give it credit as a character arc.
Not a well-executed character arc, but it was a character arc.
Because
it was a character leap.
There you go. It's a good character leap. It's not an arc. It's just, hey, I'm doing this now without context. Because he didn't have any reason. You know what? If she would have been like, I'm gonna fucking like put you up for mutiny, like you're going to the brig, so now you're gonna do this suicide mission because we're gonna force you or we'll kill you or some shit.
They went. Are we jumping into Finn Rose, or are we gonna?
Not yet, but this scene though where he just changed changed gears.
I was like, cause like I thought we were we're on the ship and then we left because we finished basically the ship storyline, but we didn't go to the casino area, so I figured I would add all that stuff at the casino area.
Okay, good. Then let me finish up with Luke. Then, number one, those birds. I'm sorry, those birds do not need to be in the movie.
You don't like the points?
They're funny, ish.
But the joke where Chewbacca's cooked one of them.
No, I didn't even. No, I thought he was hungry.
He cooked one of them.
Oh, see, I thought they were hungry and wanted to eat. I was like, why do they want to eat? I mean, isn't that one of them?
Maybe that's what they wanted, but I don't know. I don't know why they would eat each other.
Well, they don't know. They're just animals.
I thought they were just like, that's one of our friends.
Maybe they were. They were pretty.
Crying.
I thought he was crying because he was starving, and Chewie was like, "Leave me alone! You're not getting any."
By the end, Chewie didn't eat one, or didn't eat it, and I'm like, at that point, he's cooked. Eat him.
Oh, so maybe it was, yeah, because he did kind of stop at the end. I was like, huh. Okay, maybe that was what it was, and then he felt bad because
he already killed one and cooked him.
Yeah, but we know Chewie's a big softie, so maybe that's why he let them move in.
But he's already dead.
But it looks bad. It's insult to injury, okay? That's funny though. So maybe that's why he let. Because my next question was, why the fuck did he let those birds just move onto the Falcon and just left the door open for weeks? But that's funny because maybe Chewie let them live. He was like, "Hey, you can move in here. I'm sorry I killed your friend."
It would make more sense if he didn't kill their friend and try to eat him. Because why would they trust him after that?
Well, because he said sorry.
I guess.
Maybe he spent a lot of time because we don't know how long they were there. 3 days, maybe.
Yeah.
3 to 5 days. So it's
But
like,
it would make more sense with what you said though. Like if he was trying to eat something and they were like, "Can we have?" And he was like, "Fuck it, no!" And then he was angry, and then he said, "Fuck it, fine," and then gave them some food, and then now they're all his friends.
yeah, I could see that.
That would make more sense than him eating one of their friends and then, or like cooking one of their friends and then like, "I'm sorry, I killed your friend. Would you like hang out with me?"
Yeah, I guess that's a bit of a leap the other way. That's pretty funny. But yeah, I don't think they needed to be there. I guess I did like them in my first watch again. That's why I'm like hard to say this because they were funny in the first watch, but on my second watch, maybe I'm just being too critical. Because I was like, why are they here? They don't need to be in this scene. This scene has a lot of tension. That's good.
I'll say, I bring up Mandalorian constantly. The Mandalorian always it makes new creatures constantly. They keep introducing new creatures, new worlds, new characters. But they always have a purpose in the plot that they're in.
Right.
So it just reminds me of how well a writer can introduce something that is useless, but he doesn't make it useless, right? Like
right.
the porgs are useless. There's no need introducing the porgs without giving them something to do. Like the Ewoks were introduced in episode 6, and you can argue they didn't do no fucking work and help, but they kind of did. Exactly. So yeah.
I mean, they were cool on the island, but when they ended up on the ship in the end of the movie,
yeah,
that's what I didn't like. I was like, why are you still here? The joke's over. Like,
yeah,
go home.
Yeah.
But not a huge
I like
deal.
the porgs. They're cute. But
they really
yeah,
are. They're fucking adorable and they're really funny. When fucking like
Yeah.
Chewie's screaming and the dude's screaming, I'm like, yes.
The little porg is screaming. If it was just one porg that stayed on, that'd be. But there was like a fuck ton of them.
Right, they had little nests and shit everywhere. Like that's kind of funny. Because when he's trying to take off and fly, one's like fucking with like the cockpit and has something on his head. The other one, he was like, just please, I'm trying to do some work here. You're fucking. Them fucking with Chewie's the best part. Because Chewie, well, also maybe it does play a role, right? It gives Chewie some companions.
Yeah.
Because Chewie lost Han,
so now it fills the whole. It fills the whole of Han.
Right. Okay, there you go. Look at that. See, guys, this movie isn't so bad, and even the things we didn't like, now we have a reason for.
What's the
next is the interdimensional force travel that they did with the water. What the fuck is that about?
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they're sitting there touching each other in like the water, and then like he has water on his hand.
It's how powerful they are in the Force.
Well, Snoke said he did that, so he put them together.
Right.
So that means he can control dimensional teleportation. That's pretty powerful tech.
You sure it's not just the water? It's like special Force water.
Force water. My bad. Yeah, that was a little bit too much. Even though they touched hands, they did physically make contact.
Yeah. That's how powerful they are on the Force, Trey.
I don't like it. I don't like it one bit, Sam. I am okay. Also, why is she crying for Han when she's talking to?
Because she looked at him as a father figure.
She knew him for like a day.
And now she's trying to make Luke her father figure because her parents abandoned her. That makes sense.
I did like that bit. That was a real good.
But they never leaned into any of that.
Right. No, I did like that bit a lot. He even
when
calls
she's
her out.
when she's finishing Han's sentence, maybe. But I don't know. It just didn't feel right.
Right. No, I agree. I didn't like her and Han's thing where the sentence thing was terrible, which they also did with like Rose and Finn.
Like I guess people. I don't know if people liken Rey's relationship with Han in episode 7 to Luke's to Ben's. Like, oh, but Ben was only in the movie for but it was established earlier that Ben and Luke knew each other and they've known each other for years.
Right, trained him.
She didn't. She knew of Han. He was this great pilot. Yeah, she knew of him, not that she like knew him personally.
Right, because she was. I could get her being upset. Right.
Right.
If you watch someone kill their father in front of you, like that's going to upset you. Period. Especially if it was a legendary hero. That's fine.
Yeah.
But she was crying as if that was like her family.
Right.
And she'd known him, and I was like, I don't get it, lady. Where. And this is another part of where the movie just writes shit, because it's like, oh, we need this dramatic scene. Like, similar to the whole Phasma scene of them re-entering with the fucking dramatic WWE entrance. It's like, why? someone who was writing that was like, oh, we need this really fucking, what about this dramatic scene? They're talking, and she's confronting him about, how he killed Han. How could he do that? How could he get away with that? And she's super emotional, and like, it's really dramatic. Like, that scene in and of itself probably sounded really good, right? And arguably, if you look at the scene, it was filmed really good, it was shot really well, and the actors did a really good job. Except for him being shirtless. I don't know why the fuck, like...
Because he needed a shirtless, and you gotta show off the massive pecs he worked out really hard for.
Just stop.
As a sexy man.
He really... No, I'd say he's, what do you call it? Beautiful. That is a beautiful man. Holy... The way his hair is, the facial features, just like this yeah, whew. Anyway... It didn't need to be that. I even liked what she said too. She was like, "Can you put a cloak on or something? Why are you shirtless?" And I was like, "Yeah, thank you, please." I was like, "Please, dude, look at him out of here." But I also think it's kind of funny though, because thinking about the fact that Snoke is the one who made that happen.
Maybe
he could have did it on purpose.
Force called him. Maybe she used the force call, and while he was getting out of the shower, like maybe he was getting dressed.
Well, that's what I mean. I think Snoke made the call on purpose so she could be all hot and bothered and distracted with her emotions by him. Because we do know that attractive people get the benefit of the doubt more often than not.
Yeah.
Because he did say in the throne room and all that.
That's why Snoke's not trying to seduce her with his ugly ass.
Right. Because he talks about that. He was like, "I knew you'd what do you call it? I knew you'd take the bait."
I don't know. Maybe he was. Did you see what he was wearing at the end of the movie? He had a sexy fucking robe.
That
he had
gold robe, yeah. Dog. Dude. I'm glad you noticed that because I watched it. I was like, "What the fuck is he wearing?"
He's the fucking Hugh Hefner of fucking Star Wars.
Stop, dude. Because genuinely, I was like, "What the fuck is he wearing?" And I was like, "You know what? He's the Emperor. He's comfy. I guess." I didn't think twice about it, but the fact that you noticed it too makes me feel better about it.
He splurged, he spent a little. He just got a paid. He just he bought a new robe.
Oh, that shit was funny.
Oh god, yeah.
But makes sense, yeah. So I'm giving it credit. So he would have connected them when he was shirtless to make him look more attractive, and the more attractive you are, the more likely you are to not think straight when interacting with that person.
Yeah.
So, yeah, so fair enough. Even the shirtless scene. There you go. Credit back to this movie. I did have to jump through some hoops, but they did a shirtless scene where you can at least rationalize it.
Can't you just rationalize all shirtless scenes?
I guess technically, because no, you can't, because that scene had relevance to the plot and her interaction with him, and it had a meaningful impact on her willingness to trust him. Because if he had the helmet on or looked like really scary in his full thing, she would be less likely to trust him and interact with him as a human being, a very handsome human being.
Yes.
So I think that
we know for a fact he's a human.
Huh? Maybe not. But so we know that would have had an impact on their relationship. Maybe he's not even a
solo. Maybe he was conceived by the Force as well.
Maybe. So that matters. That does matter for that scene. But something like Guardians of the Galaxy, right, where it's just randomly Chris Pratt putting his shirt on, walking out of the fucking shower or something.
Yeah.
There's no reason for that. That has no bearing. You could have literally shot that same shot.
They had to take his shirt off to give him prison outfit.
Yes, and well, that's different. That one a little bit. I'll give you that one. He had to get butt naked and sprayed down. But there's other scenes
we didn't have to see it, but
that's true. We didn't have to see it. Or we could have at least seen like, what do you call it? Some other alien or something getting sprayed, or like see them testing the waters, like testing the sprayer. And like, all right, you're up next, and then he goes to pull his shirt
Chris Pratt
off.
worked out. He has to show it off.
Of course. I mean, how are you gonna get the fans in there?
I would say like Chris Pratt prior to that movie was that chunky dude from Arrested Development? That's not right.
No, Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec. Yeah, he was the chunky dude from Parks and Rec. So they had to show off his work.
Hey, it ain't tricking if you got it. I'm not mad.
Yeah.
But you should do your shirtless scenes with something that it matters, relevancy in some sense.
Nah.
Because if not, I mean...
It's out for Harambe.
Dick's out for Harambe. Hey, well, listen, I want more tits then. I want more tits and ass. If we're going to sit here and have these hot dudes with their tits and ass all out, I want more hot women with tits and ass all out.
We haven't had ass shots. We only had an ass shot of Thor, I think, so far.
Yes. No, we got ass shot. I think Star-Lord had his ass out when he was getting sprayed.
Did he?
I think so.
I know Rocket had his ass out.
Right.
See, that's the reason we had that scene. We had to see Rocket's little implants on his back so that Quill sees them.
Oh.
There you go.
There you go. Checks out.
I got you.
You got me.
I got you. I got you, girls. Keep your shirtless in.
Very true. Oh fuck. But moving on. So they had that whole shit. They I think that's the last little bit, right? Because then that's after. No, we gotta do Luke's whole ending. So they did that. Luke blew up. She blew up. She said,
when did
"Fuck
she
it."
leave?
She took the books and left right after that.
Did she take the books?
Yeah. You see him at the end of the movie, which is why the little line is kind of funny. I knew it was happening. I didn't catch it my first view, but Rey doesn't possess anything that she doesn't need already.
Luke was going to burn the text, right?
Huh? Yeah, he was going to burn the text in the tree.
And then the fucking lightning bolt. Or Yoda summons the lightning bolt. Whatever happened.
Speaking of,
and then he said,
Yoda, you know how powerful this
you have to burn those.
He wasn't gonna go through with it though. He couldn't do it.
Yeah, definitely, probably.
Because he was going to, but then he stopped, and then Yoda said, "Let me do it for you," and fucking summoned lightning from the heavens. It goes back to my theory. We were talking about this when he was fighting Dooku. That given how many people he's exchanged Force lightning with, I said, I'm pretty sure he can use it. I'm pretty sure he's been trained in it somewhere, sometime, and that's
he wasn't using Force lightning. He summoned lightning.
Nah.
He used the Force to move the clouds around in the sky so it would summon lightning.
That fucker put his finger up.
He used the Force to make ambient air pressure in the sky to create the conditions for lightning.
Boo! That motherfucker summoned that giant bolt of lightning even as a ghost. How powerful is he?
I don't know, too powerful.
I love it, dude. That's cool. But you're right though. That is an explanation though, because you did see the clouds in the sky before. So I guess.
I was just talking shit. I was talking out of my ass.
But no, you're not wrong though. There were clouds in the sky, and you can interpret it that way. I think because there was a little bit of like storm going. But Yoda put his finger up as soon as the lightning fell from the heavens. So
yeah.
I don't necessarily think you could argue it either way. Yeah, either he summoned it or he moved it from the clouds down. Either way. That sounds like it's the same words, but people understand what I mean. He created it. That's not summoned. He created it, or he summoned it. 2 words. But either way. So yeah, they're going there, and he fucking does that. Has a little talk with Yoda, and I really appreciated what Yoda said to him, though. Which is kind of cool.
Failure is the greatest teacher.
No. He was like, "You're always stuck in the horizon, never looking at the now," and that was a big deal, because I do that myself in my personal life. So that's why that line kind of meant a lot to me.
That's funny because that's also what he does in that's the thing he does. He looks at the horizon at the end of the movie.
Wow, that's funny. I never caught that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it's like you're always looking like, oh, Kylo's gonna be a bad guy one day. Oh, something could happen one day. Oh, this could happen one day. It's all these one days.
Yeah.
That he seems to really consume himself with, and I was like, fuck, man. Even I do that sometimes. I'm worried about things that may never happen. But in Luke's defense. We don't know.
Yeah, he's a futurist, like Iron Man. He only thinks about the future, not the now.
Right. Because if you plan for the future, the now never happens, right?
Exactly.
You plan for the good future, and you protect yourself from the bad things, and then it never happens. But then sometimes it does. And that's why you don't get too caught up. And that's how philosophical. And that's a really good point in this movie, to put a lot of shine on this one tiny, tiny portion because of how much we've shit on it. That's a really good life lesson, though, because overall... if I spend too much time, I'm doing nothing but working out, eating healthy, saving money, doing all this shit, worried about the future, and then I spend years doing that.
You spend your whole life future-proofing yourself, but then you don't spend any time enjoying yourself.
Right. So I never go out to eat. Right. I never drink. I never do this fun stuff. I never have let loose. I'm super strict on my schedule. Oh, I have to be up in the morning because I have this one thing to do in a meeting or I'm studying, so I'm not going to go out and hang out with my friends. And then you have all these things that you're so worried about the horizon in the future, and then your life is gone. And it's like, well, the past is gone now. You never had a life. You were so worried about the future, your life never came. So, and I think that's one thing too with his relationships with his family, right? It was oh, my relationship with Leia and Han is gone. Well, Han's gone. Leia's, he can try and, if he didn't plan to die, he could have tried to fix it. But that shit's gone. So he spent so much time worried about the future and hiding everything off and protecting people from the Force and protecting himself that people were just dying anyway. He didn't accomplish anything. His whole shit, they're all out there getting fucked up anyway. So,
yep.
Good news. Good line. Good dude. One of the good bits about this movie. But well, it came from Yoda really, so it makes sense.
We're gonna move on to the casino.
I think
I
so.
think.
That's the next. I think.
Yeah, because everything else culminates at the end
Well,
on
no,
the
we've got
Salt
Ray's
Island.
whole bit. We got Ray and Kylo's whole bit after she goes off to his. Chewie
Oh,
drops her
right.
off.
I forgot that she goes to the
So
fucking
we'll do that part, I
uh
guess, first with him, them snoking them.
yeah.
So she goes off, and then he kidnaps her. Well, not kidnaps, because
She
Chewie's going
goes
to.
of her own volition
Yeah, well, yeah. So she goes, but then they put her in handcuffs, so kind of kidnapped, I guess. Chewie
willingly
goes,
kidnapped.
leaves her. She talks to dude. There wasn't much, I guess. There were some important bits there, but I
She
can't remember
mentioned
them.
come to the light and he said no. And then they go up the elevator and it's very reminiscent of episode 6 where Luke is like, "Father, I feel the light in you. Let go of your hate."
Oh yeah, I'll
Too
see
late
it.
for
I've
me,
seen you
son.
turn. And he said, "I've
Yeah.
seen you turn." Um,
I've seen the U-turn sign.
right. It will. I didn't like that stupid, cheesy fucking line. It will be your downfall.
Which one?
She was talking to Snoke. Something about it will be your downfall, and I was like, there was like the same line, I think, or similar line that Luke had said, and it didn't make sense, and it seemed out of
Yeah.
character.
Your faith in your friends is yours.
Woo, baby! When he
uh,
said that, that was one of the best delivered lines. He had some
what did
stank
Luke
on
say
that.
to him? I don't remember what Luke said to him.
He said, "Your overconfidence will be your downfall." Or no,
Oh, yeah.
your overconfidence is your weakness, Emperor. Your faith, in your friends is yours. That shit is too good because he said that shit. Like, he was mad, bro. Like, but yeah, so that line was kind of stupid. But then they're having their whole like, I don't know, talk, and I think Snoke's little talk was cool. What do you call it? Was it cool? I don't know. He picked her up. I didn't have any notes for it, so it must not have been that bad or that good. Because I know he picked her up and he was like, "I'm gonna get everything," and then fucking just held her in the sky and tortured her.
He was trying to use the Force to extract her memories because he wanted to know where Luke was. Yeah, he was still trying to figure out what Luke was because he still didn't know.
Right. And I think he got it from her. By the end, he like drops her. She tried to fight back a couple times, and he laughed in her face because she has spunk.
Yeah.
Kylo sat there. I did like she pulled her lightsaber, and when she went to go pull it, he pulled it back around, hit her in the back of the head, and just laughed at her. I thought that shit was great. That's one of those weird comedy bits that like didn't feel out of place. And then when I think about it overtly, it feels like it should be just as shitty as the other ones.
It landed. That one was fine.
That one was pretty good, but so I don't know what they did differently. It didn't break the tension. It was also in character.
Kylo didn't laugh.
Right, Kylo didn't laugh. Snoke was laughing, but that was because he's the one who did the joke. He did it on purpose. He's fucking with her.
Yeah.
And it makes sense that he would do so.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of good. I just the monologue. I didn't like Snoke's monologue as much.
Or you're talking about how like Kylo is his faithful servant, and I can see in his mind. I'm always in his brain. I can see in his mind that he's going to turn his lightsaber, and as he says it, he's turning his lightsaber in his hand, and he's turning the other lightsaber with the Force.
Right.
Yeah, I get it. You're making a double entendre. I understand. And then he's like, and then he'll strike his true enemy. Yes,
yeah,
I got it.
That was stupid. I didn't like that at all because especially off the back of in the same line, I know everything. I know his every thought. I'm in his mind. Really?
Well, technically, it shows to give defense to the movie. It shows that Kylo knows how much Snoke is in his mind. That he literally is thinking, "I'm going to turn my lightsaber," so he's going to know I'm turning my lightsaber. But at the same time, I'm going to fucking use the Force to turn the other lightsaber over there. So I'm thinking about doing that, but I am doing it. It literally with my hand and with the Force at the other lightsaber. So and he does strike him down when he's thinking, I'm going to strike my true enemy, but he's like holding the lightsaber at Rey. He's about to fucking turn it on. Fine, but I don't like it.
I'm not even going to give it a pass just because when he says his true enemy, that's only one person. You can't disguise that. If you're thinking about your true enemy, you can't disguise it. You know who it is. It's not Rey. If he can truly read his fucking mind, essentially, to the T.
I mean, you can only read it somewhat. It's like super vague.
Maybe. I want to give it credit because I thought it was okay at first.
Or he's using the Force to interpret his thoughts. His thoughts is kind of like a scattered, like weird image, and he has to interpret it. But who knows? We're not in there. We don't
Right.
see what he sees as the Force thought. But when you think of he can read his mind, he knows what his thoughts are.
It's
right?
what he did with Ray,
So,
right? He knew like he read.
well, he had to use a lot of force to try to extract exact memories
Oh,
and
that's
stuff like that.
true, and it was like painful. He probably doesn't do that to Kylo.
Yeah.
It's probably more of a passive thing, like you're saying. It's like because of a gray fog that comes out.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay, I give it more credit than it was because he did show a different technique for getting the real details out versus this passive thing.
Yeah.
um,
Snoke's so
but
powerful.
yeah, clearly, no, that was another one that we forgot. When he blasted the floor with lightning, he didn't even shoot Kylo. He blasted the floor and it blew him across the room.
Hmm.
I was like, holy fuck, man, how strong is this guy, right? Because
Right.
he can do that. He can force dimensional transport people across the universe.
Yeah.
Because they're fucking like in the same room as each other and shit. Like I don't know, he's got some wild shit going on. Um, so yeah, I don't know the limits of which is weird. Why I guess he just died, but maybe it's his overconfidence, right? I don't
Yeah.
know.
It was his
Fucking
weakness.
play on the fucking number
Yeah, I
6.
gotcha.
But maybe that's what it was. He didn't expect that lightsaber to kid him. He felt like he
Yeah.
was in control. He was also using some amount of his power to control Rey.
Yeah.
So we don't know how focused, because he was also reading his mind too. So
Yep.
he's reading Kylo's mind and holding Rey, two of which I don't think both of those things would necessarily dictate that much power. But I'm gonna say it's enough that with his confidence, he was like, "Yeah, I'm focused on this. I'm not gonna notice that kind of thing." Um,
Yeah.
but anyway, so yeah, then they start fighting. The guards
They
didn't
kill.
react.
Yeah, they kill. He kills Snoke. The guards try to kill them. They kill the guards. They
Dude,
have
did
a
you see
real-
that one guard he threw in the fan?
Yeah.
That fucker got chopped to bits and just, woo, and the guts flew up and everything.
Yeah.
I was like, can they get away with that?
Disney won't cut off people's arms, but they'll do that shit. Really?
Right.
Really, Disney?
I was like, dude, you gotta be fucking. And then like she slit the other dude's throat.
They cut Snoke in half.
Yeah, she cut Snoke in half and his body fell limp to the floor.
Well, he did. Kylo did it.
Still, yeah, they do some crazy shit, but they're not gonna chop somebody's arm off.
Okay.
But I
It's
think that was, yeah, they
tradition.
had the big fight. The big fight was kind of cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't overly impressed or anything, but it was cool. Um, so that's like, I guess that's a plus. Yeah, it's a good plus. The fight scene.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and then after that, I think we cut back to the other shit, right? One thing about
Yes.
that
What's
bit
that?
though was when it went back to that scene when Kylo was waking up. When we got the red, why did it zoom in on Snoke's dead face? The scene starts just
How
zoomed
did it
in.
create intrigue around Snoke? I know a lot of people started making theories that Snoke was like that wasn't the real Snoke, or it was a clone. He met cloners and made a clone of himself. But I don't know. I don't know why they did that.
Because I noticed that was just weird for me when I was watching the shot. I was like, it just goes back to that room and
To
it's
prove
just
like, hey, look, this guy's dead. Here you
right. I
go.
was like, we
Here's
knew he was dead. Like his like lips
Here's
were hanging open, like,
confirmation.
tongue was hanging
you
out.
need confirmation.
I guess too much.
um,
But,
yeah. Then Hux shows up, tries to Thor thinks about killing Kylo, and then Kylo wakes up and he asks him what happened, and then
Right.
Kylo lies and says that Rey killed Snoke. And
right, and then chokes his ass out when he tries to tell him he's not the supreme leader. Okay, so now we have Finn's group, I guess.
yes, the casino planet.
Okay, so we got. Why was BB-8 going? I guess he's a droid. He's helpful.
He's very helpful.
Why was Rose going?
She's helpful.
What
It was
training?
her plan.
What training did she have to be there?
It's her plan, and she knows about lightspeed tech because she's a maintenance worker.
But she has nothing. They're going to pick up a guy like a swindler.
Yes,
Why wouldn't Pogo do that? He's the most smooth talking guy. Like
because he was in on their plan. He was supposed to be on the ship to do something.
he didn't do anything. He was under like control.
He
They were-
got control of the ship from Holdo.
he did later.
That was part of the plan, right? No,
No, part of the Holdo was part of the ship was when they weren't going to let.
Oh, he was
Finn
going to try to convince Holdo about the plan. There we go.
I guess, even though they hid it from her, I don't believe that.
Well, I mean, they would have had to get her on board by the end.
Oh yeah.
So it was probably more of a ask for forgiveness rather than permission kind of.
Right. Okay. Because it did seem weird. I was like, they sent these guys.
Oh yeah, because Finn's not a high enough rank to get to Holdo, and Rose is definitely not high enough rank to get.
Right.
She's a maintenance worker.
Because they had other guys. That was it's main character syndrome.
Yeah.
But you saw there were other people who were in on the plan on Poe's side.
None of them were high enough rank. There were like people who looked up to Poe.
No, I meant they could have went on to the planet.
Oh yeah.
There were plenty of other people I feel like that could have went to the planet to help.
Yeah, but I don't know what a maintenance worker does. She works on the ship, so she has to be some kind of engineer, right?
Right.
And
at least she has to know about plumbing or pipes or gas.
Sure. I would say she's at least more what's the word?
She's not dumb.
Yeah, she's not dumb, but I would say more qualified than Finn.
Okay, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Because he's just a grunt soldier, and before he was a grunt soldier, he worked in not maintenance. What was he working as?
Sanitation. Speaking of, I forgot to bitch about that. He was like, "How are we gonna know to get on there and how this system works?" Ask the guy who mopped it. I'm done. I'm done. I want to go to Tesla, right? Let's go to Tesla, the fucking factory where they make those fucking cars, and let's go ask one of the guys who mops the floors how the entire building is set up, how their batteries work, and how their entire infrastructure and everything about the fucking systems in the cars. Let's see if he knows. Like,
yeah,
ridiculous.
What?
Fucking ridiculous.
But he's worked there.
No, he didn't as well. When did he work there? He worked on the Death Star. He worked over here.
But it's all uniform. It's all uniform.
That's Snoke's personal dreadnought.
It's not that different from a regular dreadnought.
No, it's not. It's way different. We've never even seen anything like it. It's not even the same shape. At least Kylo's dreadnought was blue, but it was the same shape.
Triangle shaped?
Huh?
They're all triangle shaped, right?
Yeah, his is a giant wing thing.
Perfect. Exactly, it's the same.
No. Kylo's was the same. It was bigger like it had blue highlights and dark. It was cool. But you could argue that one. But no, that's why I also was surprised. How the fuck did they have schematics for it?
They looked it up on
Google.
Internet
Google. Galaxy
Space
Google.
Yeah, it's called Galaxy.
Jesus, dude. Yeah, no, fuck that. Dude, the writing is so fucking terrible. Because I'm gonna jump ahead just a slight bit too. Why the fuck were her and Finn on the fucking mission to go blow up that stupid mining thing? Neither one of them had any business being there at all.
What mining thing?
The blow up the door shit. The big drill, the big beam drill.
Oh, because main characters.
Fuck that, dude.
I was thinking about it while I was watching. I was like, why was she in the? She's not a pilot, right?
No, she's not even shown that she knows how to fly anything at all. And we know that Finn can't because he doesn't even know how to put his little tractor thing down. They're completely untrained, and it makes no fucking sense.
Well, there's not that many of them anymore, so now they just take a vote.
There was plenty of them in the base. Plenty. There was at least 15, 20 of them in the base that could have
Maybe they're all maintenance workers.
Bro, no. Fuck that, dude. That shit kills me, and that's part of this whole writing problem.
Dude, but since we're right here, I wanted to say something. I was like, why the fuck? Like, when they were like, no one's answering. Like, why would they? They'd lose more men trying to get to save y'all than fucking how many they would gain by saving y'all.
Right. If you think about it tactically, right?
Yeah.
You could say because it's Leia that matters. But they lost everyone else. Dude, I forgot. Speaking of lost everyone else. Dude, my man Ambrose Akbar just dead.
Yeah.
Unceremoniously.
Unceremoniously.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's the exact fucking word I was going to just he has been a pillar of that community since Rogue One.
Right.
Nope, he's just dead. When I
was watching The Force Awakens, I was like, hey, look, Akbar, he's still here.
Right. He's been like one of my favorite low-key characters, just in the background.
Well, I mean, you know, like normies, not like we're super fans. Even though we don't watch, we're not religious about Star Wars.
Right.
We're super fans. We know these random dudes' names that are unimportant, technically.
Right. Right.
But like normies don't fucking know, right? A random person who goes, "Let's go Star Wars."
Right. They're gonna
They
think that's
wouldn't
just
know
a
it.
fodder ninja kind of.
Yeah, it's a red shirt.
I'd put him in a category as like a Ruka, all close to it.
Yeah.
I mean, he was important to me.
I'd make him more like alongside of Genma and Gemma.
Okay, that's fair because Ruka was a little more important.
What was those fucking two tuning guys with the one with the bandage on his nose and the one with the
Bro,
spiky
my
hair?
favorite, the Proctor.
Yeah, the Proctor.
I fucking love. Yo,
Proctor,
you're right. That's the perfect place to put him. the sleepy, sickly Proctor. He's my favorite. Yeah.
That's Hayate. Yeah, the fucking coughing, the fucking Proctor. That's Hayate.
Right. Poor Akbar. I had to bring that up.
Yeah, he was gone for no fucking reason.
But I gotta go back to the they left the ship.
The dude who was on the ship I was about to call it Evan Hawke, playing too much KOTOR. The dude that was on the Millennium Falcon, flying it with fuck's his name, Lando. The guy who was flying Millennium Falcon with Lando in Episode 6. He was still there.
Really?
Yeah, the one alien with the weird looking head.
Oh, hold on. When she was like, when they did the betrayal.
Yeah.
When he was like, yeah, fuck you, and like the guy sitting to the right of Poe, green guy,
Was he green?
little beady eyes.
No, maybe I don't
Had
know.
a square head, rectangular, square, tall head.
I don't think so. I'll show you later.
Maybe I think I'm a
It's fine.
different guy. But
Yeah.
yeah, I did see one of those guys was consistent throughout, like all the scenes.
Yeah.
So I thought that was cool that he was a pilot in like the little mining mission thing or battering ram mission.
Yeah.
But we get too far because I gotta get into the we both have issues with the next shit after that.
Yeah.
But so they're leaving.
Yeah, it's the one you were talking about. Yeah, with like kind of a triangle head. Yeah, it's him. With the all black eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy.
So what do you call it?
He was a co-pilot on Episode 6 for Millennium Falcon with Lando.
Sick.
Yeah, he was still there. That was cool.
But when they go to the casino,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna complain, but I did wonder like how the fuck. Oh no, I am gonna complain because I forgot about this shit. How the fuck do they have direct access to Maz at all? She knew Han.
Yeah.
She's never met Rose. She's never met Poe. She knew Finn for like a minute, and then he said, "Fuck it, I'm leaving," and then he walked out the door.
She was popular.
Yep, that's it. There it was. Fuck that, dude. That shit. And that's another one of these things where the writing is so fucking bad because you can't just do stuff because it would be cool. I get it. I liked Maz when she came back the first time. This is again why I don't think if anyone's still listening, still here, like listening, like to us just bitch about it. It's not that bad on your first watch, or even a second watch if you're not critical. Right? If you don't think about these things, because I remember like, oh, Maz is here, cool. She's one of my favorites as far as new characters go. But upon further inspection, you can't just do that. Give me some context.
Maz knew Han, so Maz knew Leia, so Leia told Poe about Maz, and then Poe met Maz. Done.
Close enough. And then, how does she happen to know a super hacker who can crack everything happens to be close by?
They had the light speed travel. He wasn't close by.
Close. I mean, how much fuel, since we're doing the fuel thing in this movie, can that little tiny...
Don't worry about the fuel.
How much fuel can that putt-putt have to go to light speed? I didn't even know putt-putts could go in light speed.
Yeah, they've always been able to go to light speed.
In the little putt-putts?
Yeah, little putt-putts.
I don't know.
Luke does. Luke does in his X-Wing.
Oh, you're right. Okay, checks out. And they do have the X-Wings all come out of hyperspeed with them in the fleet.
Yeah. Shit.
Checks out.
And the prequels, they even made the whole thing with the prequels that, like, they didn't have that technology in the prequel era. They had these rings that they had to put the little putt-putts in the fucking rings, and then they would go to light speed.
Right, that's cool. Very
Logistics.
Cool. Yep, no, very cool. Another small detail that I never noticed, because it was cool when Obi-Wan's ship, he got like the bigger circle, and then he would hop out of it and went in when he was following Jango. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
really cool. Little details that matter, and those are the kind of things that make movies really good, which is why we can still praise, even if everyone doesn't like 1, 2, and 3 the most. They did some really
Yeah.
fucking awesome things and little shit
Like
like
yeah,
that.
they made them look like sleek and cool, but then like but they did make sure to make the technology slightly worse.
Right.
Uh,
That was really awesome. There's just little things like that, and that's half of this movie is little things that they make a big deal because it's Star Wars, like you said earlier. This world is so immersive. The fans really care and they love it because that's what makes it so interesting. So when you miss all these fucking details and these tiny things, it adds up. But anyway, so they get there, and why does Finn love it? Like,
with the planet,
yeah, I get they did it
it's a
for
casino. It's
plot,
fun. It's a
but
casino. It's fun. You don't like casinos?
I mean, it was forced. He shows up, he's like, wow, look at this, and look at that, look at this.
You've
It
probably
just,
never seen it like such vast amounts of wealth before. He was like a
he
fucking
worked with the Empire.
yeah, but they put him in like sanitation. They made him a soldier. You don't live the luxurious lifestyle as a random soldier.
No, but you
Uh,
still get to see all that stuff, considering that he had access to Snoke's personal ship.
uh, he worked there as a soldier.
No, fuck that. He was on Snoke's. Even if he didn't like get to enjoy it, he at least has
Yeah.
been extravagant adjacent. Look at that gold suit he was wearing.
Yes.
So it just felt forced to me. It's not to say that it's impossible for him to have liked it, and maybe I'm being too much of a dickhead now at this point. I'm just
Yeah.
jaded because
It's okay. I don't like any of the fucking.
it just
casino
felt
shit.
weird. Why? Because she had her whole response to it. That was my issue. It felt like they were just forcing him to be like, "Wow, this is great." Because as soon as he said something
So
about
that
it,
she can be like, oh, but it's built on people who sell weapons to the Empire or to the
Right.
First Order.
that's what. Yeah, her first thing was like, "Oh." Or like when he was super happy, she made some snide comment and like, "We need to go" or something. I grabbed him and I was like, "What are
Yeah.
you being like that for?" You know, it was felt weird. And then she had her whole spiel, and then they were doing this whole. It wasn't so bad. The scene like the balcony through like the little telescope.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay. It just felt a little on the nose though. Like
100%.
there's more subtle ways to introduce
war
those things.
profiteering is that's how they make their wealth. Their
Right.
vast amounts of wealth.
And it's just I don't know. The best part of all of that was the fucking dude when he shows.
Yeah.
Oh look,
And he told them
he
the
sold to
back-
the Alliance too.
they sold to the good guys. All right, this guy. Oh, let's see how this guy made his money.
Right.
Ah, he sold to the bad guys. Ooh, and the good guys.
Right.
Like
He was the best
Whatever
part.
you say. Okay, whatever you say about like I fucking hate the casino area. Benicio del fucking Toro.
Oh, baby.
He is the man. I don't know about what he was doing with the stutter. But his performance was good.
Oh yeah, he did a fucking phenomenal job. And
He
his
did a little
character
too much with the stutter. The stutter was a little too much.
a little
Like,
too much sometimes. I thought
Sometimes
it was okay.
sometimes the delivery of the stutter felt great, and then sometimes I was like, "Wait, chill, please."
Right. I
You've done
agree
it
with
enough.
I agree with
Like
that.
he would do it like 3 times in one sentence. I was like, "Stop, please."
Right. No, I liked it. I also don't understand though. Maz was like, find the guy with the pink brochet, and then like they go and find another random dude totally unrelated, and he's the guy.
He wasn't the guy. The other guy was the guy. This was a random guy who was a code breaker.
Wait, you're
but wasn't
sure?
The
I thought it was
code breaker.
supposed to be that like it was him.
No,
in
he
disguise.
wasn't. He wasn't. He wasn't specifically the one that Maz sent them to go find.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's fucking terrible. Then. God, that's fucking
subversion,
terrible.
Trey. Subversion.
No.
Of
That's fucking
expectations.
terrible. That's actually actively bad. Because I thought it was okay. I was like, oh, so they're never gonna explain that like that guy stole his suit or he got put in there for gambling and like he's wearing his suit, but that's actually the guy. Like I was like, yeah, they never explained how he was the guy, but hey, they mistook him for someone else but no. The fact that you would have a master code breaker, this is one man, only man in the universe who can do it. That's how Maz hyped it up. That's how I'm gonna think about it as the viewer. Oh, this random drunk dude in prison? Nah, he's good, bro. He'll take care of you.
They made it because they're like, "Did you find the master code breaker?" And they're like, "We found a code breaker."
Yeah, I thought that was because they just didn't know. Like, and it never got explained. But I was like, oh, that's the guy. They found the guy, but they think he's not the guy because like he
Well,
said.
I mean, the way Maz was saying it was more just like, oh, this guy's really good. He's never gonna fuck up, right? Whereas this guy, he's kind of he probably isn't the best at it. Maybe it takes him a longer time. He doesn't have the best skills.
I don't know. They didn't. I mean, if that, I don't believe that because the way Maz made it sound is she was like the only one who could. He was the only one who could do that. Because even she said something like that, like, "Oh, if you're talking about Dreadnought or something or whatever, Snoke's personal ship or something, that's the only guy in the universe or galaxy you're gonna get to do this or something like that."
Yeah.
So they hyped it up like it was the only one, and then when they find him and he's all fucked up and drunk in the damn prison or at least the jail cell, whatever you call it, and I was like, "Oh, okay." But then he says, "What is it? Don't just trust the cover or what is it?" He used some word that I thought was pretty cheeky for like, "Don't judge a book by its cover." But it was another word, out exterior crust, I don't know, something.
Yeah.
But so he mentions that. And I'm like, oh, see? He's trying to let him know that he's super talented, and then he just, boop, and he escapes, because he felt like it. And I was like, this is actually the guy. The dude in the casino was not the guy, even though he was wearing the thing, and I guess maybe he won it in a bet from this guy. Because this guy's a fucking gambler and lost it all.
Yeah, no, that wasn't
That's
the
what I
case.
thought. The idea that they just come across a fucking two master code breakers that are universe specific, that like only few people in the entire universe had this skill set, and the other one happens to be in this cell at this place right now. Fuck that. That's too convenient, even for movie logic. That's just awful. I'm not happy with that. I'm going back to my old canon.
Well, I mean, this is legitimate canon, so this is you can't argue that he is that guy.
Boo, that sucks. That makes it worse.
So that's actually because he's actually not the guy.
But either way,
His
I guess
Funko Pop looks pretty cool.
I have to let that go. But the fucking BB-8's whole shit with that one drunk guy was fucking wonderful. When BB-8's going through and he was like, oh, and he goes to the dude's fucking trashed, and he tries to put the drink on him, and then he's like wobbles, and he's like, oh, this isn't a fucking tray, and then he was like, and then he sees like the coin slots and tries to put coins in him to gamble. Yeah. I was like, holy, this guy. Then he's like, as BB-8 like resists, he grabs him really tight, stumbles into his face and burps. I was like, oh my god, this guy's fucking drunk. And that little scene was really funny, because then when BB-8 shows back up and he's rolling in, you can hear the clink clank of the coins inside of him.
Yeah, it's funny.
That little detail was so good. I was like, bro, he's got a bunch of money in him.
Yeah, he would. Because I thought he was supposed to have like he was supposed to be like a Hans kind of, or not like a Hans, but a Lando type. And it's like, oh, he was a bad guy, but he like bonded with Finn, and then he was gonna be like in the next movie, he was gonna have like a the fuck's it called? Redemption arc, right?
Right.
But they ended up cutting him out of the movie.
Damn. I thought he was gonna come back in this one. Because the way he said
really?
it,
Yeah.
he was like
that would have made sense. Yeah.
I help you fuck the bad. He said, I help them, they fuck you over, and then I help you, you fuck them over. You'll get your time or some shit. Like,
yeah.
He made some quote along those lines that, yeah, you'll get him back. And I was like, oh, he's gonna come back and save
I
him.
think just because of his character, like if they didn't want to make him have a redemption arc, but keep him, they wanted him to help the good guys, but keep him in character. He would be helping them when they were losing, or when they're winning, not when they're losing. So,
right.
But it'd be during the next movie.
Right. I'm cool with that. That'd be kind of funny.
But he ended up not coming back because the actor said he wanted to come back, but they were trying to get rid of everything that the fans didn't like, and this section was one of the sections the fans didn't like. So
what? They didn't like him?
No, the section, the overall casino
That's
area.
Okay, you could take him back. He's not a part of the section.
You know how big corporations are. Like, oh, they didn't like the casino area. This is the only he was only in the casino stuff, so they didn't like him.
Oh no, you're right. People are dumb. Fuck.
No, producers are.
That sucks. You're right. Let me see what else. Because I got my notes are all fucked because we're out of chronological.
Yeah. They after they get the code breaker guy, and then they go to Lightspeed to go to fucking what's his face's Dreadnought, and then they try to sneak on board. They put a fucking trash can on BB-8.
That shit was great.
That shit
the
was hilarious.
subtitles? The subtitles said imitates mouse droid noises.
Yeah, I saw that.
I fucking love
Uh,
it. Well, we skipped out a couple more shitty parts of that, the writing in that fucking thing. Because after they leave all the horses and stuff outside,
yeah,
he's like, he says something about, yeah, everything's okay now. And then she stops, turns, and then pulls the fucking saddle off this little beast that was like crying for some reason.
yeah.
And it's like, now it's okay. What? You didn't change anything. Like I get that, like, yeah, it was a little emotional. It just didn't land very well. Because I get that scene seems like it's not even a problem.
Saved the animals.
It was fucking terrible.
But the animals.
Why was that in
Trey.
the movie? Why?
Ah.
Why was she in the movie? But why was her entire, like... Also, again, with this stupid convenient shit that they just don't think about, they just write characters however convenient it is for the fucking plot in the moment. Yeah, my parents and I had a bad backstory and we were minors, and we did these things where people sold weapons for, and I somehow know everyone here is a weapons dealer, and I know everything about this place. Sure. Sure you do. Like, why?
Yes.
Why? This fucking sucks. That dude, though, that drunk dude who was fucking with BB-8, I like that he comes back, they knock over the machine, and a bunch of money pours out, and he's like, woohoo, just rolling in the fucking money.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that shit was
funny.
great. Nothing else too much happened there, though, I guess, right? Because I don't have any notes for it for some reason. It must have been, I guess, forgettable.
Yeah.
I like the one dude, the snobby rich dude. And I tried to tell them that they can't park there, and they did. The fuck?
That's funny.
And then they're leaving, and like then they can see he's like, there they are, the Parkers, or what do you call them? The
I don't
fucking.
remember what it called.
They called him the something, but it was just a name for like those are the guys who were parking on the beach. But it was really cheesy sounding. That shit was funny. Yeah, the little kids. Why were there little kids in there? Like, why was that one little kid in the cage with the fucking horse?
'Cause he's a stable slave.
A what?
A stable slave.
The fuck is
He
that?
works in the stables.
Why
And
would...
he's a slave.
What? There was no other slaves in the other stables?
No, he worked in that stable.
But I mean like the other places. Like there was other kids around. They were looking. Why was that one kid trapped in the fucking thing with the horse?
Because he did something that made his master mad, so he said, "You're sleeping with the horses tonight."
Maybe. There you go. That's good enough. That shit was crazy. Speaking of those little slave kids, how the fuck at the end were they telling the story, like, word for word of what happened on that salt place?
They heard it from another slave that heard it from another slave that heard it from a person that was there.
But how? It had just happened. Like,
No, it was a time skip. It was a little tiny time skip.
they were the same age.
It was like a 2-month time skip.
I'm trying to think of the scene that happened directly before that. If we got any indication.
It was the final scene of the movie. So there was a little tiny gap between the end of the when Ray saved them, and then it jumped to those kids talking about it.
Right, I'll give you that. You could, yeah, okay.
That was a couple months later.
Also, speaking of that little Force kid, did that ever get paid off in 9?
No.
Weird.
But it didn't need a payoff. It was to show, hey, anyone can have the Force. Anyone could be a Resistance member.
Was that it?
Yeah.
They've made the Force a pretty big deal in like all 8 of these movies so far.
But everyone has the Force. It lives in all of us.
You'd think so. And if that was the case, we'd have Force warriors on all these armies, but we don't.
Yes.
So no, it's important.
That kid is the future.
That kid is the new Anakin.
We'll get a movie 10 years from now. He'll be a Jedi.
Okay.
Don't worry.
I'm cool with that.
Don't worry. We'll get a spin-off. We'll get a spin-off show here soon with him.
Hell yeah. It better be done good too. Oh. But yeah, that shit was funny.
He's gonna rescue all the slaves on his home planet, and then he's gonna kill all the masters, and not just the men.
Yeah,
but
the women and children
and
too. It's funny because he had the bowl cut and looked like Anakin too. I was like, oh god.
And he'll become the next Sith Lord.
Don't do it. You know, it's like poetry. Things repeat.
He's gonna get destroyed, or he's gonna get burnt in some kind of fire,
Yeah.
and then he's gonna create a time machine to go back in time, and he's gonna refer to himself as Supreme Leader Snoke.
Bro, no, just stop. Oh my god. You know, I'm cool with that. It's just at this point, anything's better than these movies so far. Because at least that's fantastical and exciting, right?
Look how strong he is now. Imagine when he becomes a nasty old man who wears
Right.
a sweet yellow suit.
Speaking of, I never mentioned this in the very beginning. Number one, Snoke is just nasty. I don't like looking at him. I don't like his face on screen. I don't like his little mangled teeth. I don't like anything about that character when I have to look at his face on screen.
But he's Gollum.
You want to talk about Gollum? We already have one of those. It's called Finn. And Rey is his precious.
You take that back.
But yeah, no, it's just I don't know. Compared to like the Emperor was intimidating, and like I did not want to look at him. I was like scared of him in a way.
He's gross.
Snoke's just kind of grotesque. I don't know why. It didn't add to the character. Anyway, and then what do you call it?
He has to be injured in some way.
Maybe. But and then
Except
Kylo.
for Dooku. Dooku was not.
Dooku was kind of handsome for an old man too.
He was in a middle band.
Had that strong chin. Couldn't see it through the beard though.
He probably had a big old what's that shit called? Double chin? Yeah.
Maybe.
It was hiding behind the beard.
But and then Kylo, I think I'm really glad they got rid of Kylo's mask forever, because I really did not like the way he sounded in the mask.
Oh, I definitely didn't like those sound effect they gave him or the fucking way they made him talk.
Right.
But the mask looked cool.
Oh, the mask looked cool. Yeah, I liked the mask. The way it looked was super sleek, and it was a little intimidating. So the mask was fine, but the way he talked with the mask, I noticed the problem in this movie specifically, because I've always hated it. It sounded like he's whispering in my ear. Every time he said anything, it sounded. First of all, he starts with like a walkie-talkie.
Yeah.
He starts every syllable with like a walkie-talkie noise when he starts to speak, and then he finishes like a whisper. But it's loud. It's like a weird loud whisper. I don't know what it is. It's fucking awful. And there was a whole lot of that in that one scene. Is how I figured this out, because it was just him whispering Snoke's face, him whispering Snoke's face. I'm like, oh god, this is awful. And then I thought about what was awful about it. Anyway, so they're there, they leave, they go to the place. BB-8 has the fucking adorable little shit. Then they just get caught by the BB-9 unit.
Yeah.
I don't know why. That was kind of weird. Like
it was like those guys are weird. What's with that one droid?
It just was off. Like I don't know. The Empire droids are not like the regular dudes droids, is what I've always seen.
Yeah, they're not supposed to be not sentient, but they usually have the
restrictor trips.
Yeah,
and they're programmed to the T, right? They're programmed like fucking no, you do this. I've never heard one of them beep boop. I've never heard them have personalities. Never heard them talk. They literally only do orders of what they're doing.
Yeah.
So to have like this really sentient, just BB-9 unit that kind of does whatever the fuck he wants and just is randomly scanning people for no reason. Because that's another thing. Why would he scan them? That would indicate that he, number one, either scans everyone who comes through that door, or
I think it was more so that droid's acting irrationally. Let me because he saw BB-8 running into random shit,
right.
And then beep boops. So, he was like, he doesn't seem like a normal droid. Maybe he's malfunctioning. And then he tried to scan him, and then he realized it was a BB-8. It was BB-8, not a whatever droid he was trying to pretend to be.
Yeah, that checks out. But I don't know. We watched him through the scanner. He couldn't see that it was BB-8, could he? He just saw the box.
Yeah, but I'm saying that's the reason why he scanned him, was like that guy's acting irrationally and weird.
Yeah, but he wouldn't have known about like
him being a BB-8 droid.
Right.
Maybe he said, I'm gonna follow him on the cameras, and then proceeded to go to the cameras, and then.
See, could he do that? How does this one droid have so much power?
He's a droid. Maybe that's his job as a droid, is to just.
You think it's a security droid?
Maybe.
Okay, that's.
He does look like the Fez.
Right, he is kind of intimidating too, like.
The Fuzz.
Right. Okay, I'll give you that. He's like a security droid. It checks out.
Yeah. Maybe, I don't know.
It was also weird. He led the charge.
The wiki will have it.
Yeah, probably. What are BB-9 units for?
Yeah.
But so yeah, but so they go through, they get kidnapped. He gives the thing back to her because he was like, yeah, good conductor.
BB9E.
I thought that was kind of dumb because he didn't know he would have to
Oh, her
conduct
thing.
anything.
Yeah, it was just to be like, oh, he's a ruthless trade guy. Or it's like, oh, I want that metal. Yeah. And then he's like, it's a good conductor. Yeah, okay.
That's
It's
written
just
in
to
like
throw you
fuck.
off. It's to throw you off. Oh, he's not a dick.
It's bad.
And then
He is a dick.
and then
I
he-
liked him being a dick.
But it's just to throw you off. Remember, again, subversion of expectations. You think he's a dick. Oh, he's not a dick. Actually, I subverted you twice. He's a
Shut
dick.
up. Shut up. Stop. If you were, I'd punch you, dude, because you sound too much like the people who made this movie.
That's what I'm making fun of.
I know, but that's why. It's, even though I know you're joking, I just don't even want to hear it out loud, dude.
That's what they did. That's why they did it.
I know it just sucks because this is how things get made, right?
Yeah.
Literally, you've got people who are directing movies and shit who just listen to like hype on Twitter. I swear to fucking God. You don't have artists, you don't have writers, you don't have people who are fucking inspired or have thought anything through. It's like people get together in a new powwow how to direct a movie or a show, and it's like, oh, what's hot on Twitter? What are the people saying? Oh my God, I was on Twitter and people are super happy this guy died. Let's go do that now. Like, fuck
Yeah.
this, man. Fuck this shit state we've been in for a while. Because it's not now. That's like
It's slowly been changing. Like, there's definitely there's all those movies have been like shat on so much now, and then people were praising all these movies that are like not being super pretentious or being like subversion for just subversion's sake rather than having an actual like reason to do it.
right. It just sucks because now I'm remembering like that we're technically hopefully at the ass end of this era, but we have been in this era for so long, and that was just like
Yeah.
all the stank about all fucking how terrible so many movies have been recently. But except for there's been a few good ones. Speaking of fucking amazing movies, short shout out, go watch Suzume. It's fucking awesome. If
I
you
thought it
guys
was
haven't,
ass.
if you haven't seen it, dude, go watch it. That shit was good. I caught it on opening night. Random story. But I was actually like at the house chilling, and I was like, man, I gotta get out, dude. I can't be stuck in this house right now. I need to get out, do something. But the movie theater next to my house is fucking awesome. It's the Warren Theater, and they've got like fucking second floor with a full bar and all kinds of cool shit. So I was like, fuck it, man. Go to the movie theater. Go have some drinks, maybe get some food. 'Cause they have a really good menu too. They got some delicious fucking food. So I was like, yeah,
Okay.
go to- huh?
The BB9, he it scanned them and it didn't realize BB8 was a fraud, but it realized recognized Finn.
It was the back of his head in a uniform.
It scanned him.
Wow. He's black. Get him. That's fucked up.
The
That
droid
BB
was vigilant, utilizing sharp photoreceptor.
Sure. No,
and
I don't know. We didn't.
spectrum against infiltrators, saboteurs, and other threats to Supreme Leader Snook's flagship. There you go.
So
That was
he is
his
the
job.
fuzz.
Yeah, he's the fuzz.
Okay, and we don't know how long the scan was going for, but when we got to see the scan, I'm pretty sure it was on the back of their
Yeah,
shit.
he was when he was walking away.
So like, no, he wouldn't have known that from just the back of his head in a uniform. But
It was doing a 3D photoreceptor scan.
sure. Either way, oh, you finished that one side story. So I was going out. I was like, fuck it. So I went and I had some drinks and I was sitting there talking to the bartender. I was like, so what do you guys got showing tonight? And I went and checked, and I seen random anime movie and was like, hey, those are usually pretty good. I like anime. I'll go watch it. So I sit down and I'm like talking to the guy next to me because there wasn't that many people there, and it was opening night because it was only like available for 2 days or some shit. I hate how they do that. Anime movies don't advertise very well because like obviously it's not as popular, and then they're only showing for like a weekend. Get fucked. That shit sucked. But I got lucky. I was already in the theater, and I sit down and talk to the guy. I'm like, hey, you know anything about this movie? He was like, oh yeah, it's so and so's newest movie. I was like, okay, who's that? He was like, oh, have you seen Your Name, Weathering with You? I was like, oh, I fucking love those movies.
Yeah.
And he was like, yes, it's his newest one. I was like, oh, no fucking way. The movie's fucking phenomenal. Anyway, back to this shit. So they get caught. I don't like this stupid subversion bullshit. I think he should have just held on to that forever. Or maybe he would have like dropped it in a scuffle and she would have gotten it back. Anyway, so he betrays them, which I thought was really good though. actually, because after they're being kidnapped or they're captured, because this all kind of just happens. So they're sitting there getting captured, and then he's talking. He was like, "You're a payment or something, something or whatever."
Yeah.
And he was like, "What do you mean payment? With what?" And then it was like, "Oh, we did find them. There's all these cruisers that are hiding, trying to escape." And I was like, "Okay, how the fuck did he know about that?" But then I think he was listening to the transmission. Did Poe tell them that when he was talking to them?
What?
That the people were leaving in escape pods?
I think Poe mentioned it
Because I was like, how
to
the fuck did he
Finn,
know this? They
and
never...
Benicio del Toro's character was listening,
Right.
so he
Okay.
heard about it, and then he's like, "Oh, this is a good opportunity, and I'm gonna go sell this information to the First Order, and I'm tell them Finn and this girl is coming on board."
Right. Makes sense.
So
So yeah, that's about it. Because we covered like the end of that scene, I think.
and then yeah, then we got they get captured. What happened? How do they escape?
It blows up.
BB-8 gets in the AT-AT.
That shit was great. That was after it already blew up. But yes.
Wait, is that an AT-AT or no? The AT-ATs are the big ones,
No,
right?
that's the AT-ATs are the big ones. That's Chicken Walker. I can't. It's ATST or something like that.
AT-ATs?
No,
No, that's not
AT-AT
right.
is the
That's
big
AT-AT.
ones.
Yeah.
It's like ATST or AT something.
Okay,
Or
whatever.
ST.
Yeah, the walkers, the Imperial walkers.
Yeah. I always call them Chicken Walkers.
Yeah,
That shit was
getting
funny
into one
though.
of those. Yeah.
Um, he did. He got that fight with Phasma.
Yeah, whatever.
I just don't. If for somehow it didn't feel as good as I wanted it to feel.
Yeah, no, that shit was bad.
All of that I
Uh,
bitched about that I wanted in number one. It was like, here, you got it. Remember, you wanted them to fight, but it
didn't feel. It didn't pay. Like again, that it didn't earn that payoff.
right. Um, I
I
just
don't
don't.
know.
Yeah, it wasn't there for me. I was like, yeah, they had the fight. I also don't Chrome Dome. God, fuck you,
Yeah,
Finn.
bro, I said the same thing. She said something really interesting, and then he was like Chrome Dome, and I was like, really? I
God,
can't even remember what she said though. But I was
it's
so mad at Chrome
such
Dome.
a
I can't even
thin
remember what she said.
line, but it's too bad. I don't know. Like,
I don't like that line.
I think it's okay for his character, so I don't want to just give it too much discredit. But sometimes, as a writer, you got to take a little liberties. Because I mean, if you do compare it to when he was like, in number one when he was sitting number one, but the first one when he was sitting there talking to Phasma when they kidnapped him with Han, he was like, "Yeah, I'm in charge. Who's in charge now? I'm in charge. Yeah." Foaming at the
Yeah,
fucking mouth. I
yeah.
could see that stupid little kid kind of coming out in him when he interacts with her.
Mm,
So as chromed, the line itself made sense for him, but God, it was really fucking stupid and ruined the whole moment.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, it didn't really feel like the climactic battle. I did like her ending scene though. Holy shit! When he cracked the fucking
Mask.
yeah, not when he did it. The action shot of him cracking it was just okay. I don't know why it was just okay,
You're the one when she looked back up.
but yeah, when she's looking up and the mask has a fucking thing in it, and she was like, "You're
Yeah,
always scum" or some shit.
yeah.
And then fucking like fell to her death. I was like, "Oh my god." She went out like a fucking boss, dude.
Phasma spinoff.
Right, dude, please. No shit. I'd watch a Phasma spinoff in a heartbeat. Um, for real. I don't know, she's so weird. She's one of those, like, Akbar kind of characters where I have so much invested in this character who never really.
Does anything?
Yeah, they never did anything. They never got screen time. They were never intended to be important, I guess. But there's just
Yeah.
some characters that I gravitate to, and definitely Akbar and
She
her.
seemed important. She was like they gave her the special armor that
That's
just
true.
yeah,
They
like
introduced her in the very beginning too, as like, not only did they introduce her talking to Finn directly, who told you to take that helmet off, but then they showed her again directly talking to Kylo,
yeah.
apologizing for his error. Then they showed her again when she's the one who caught him when they got caught in this movie.
Hmm.
Then they showed her again when she was the one who caught him in the first one too. Well, catching him air quotes when they showed up.
Yeah.
Fucking, I think it's at the end. Or not the end, middle. Anyway, she's shown up a lot, so maybe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too uncharacteristic for that.
Yeah.
But okay, I think now we move on to the end. Have we missed anything?
No.
It's been pretty. This is a long one, huh?
Said salt planet.
Salt planet. Why is salt important? I don't know what that line was in there for. Maybe I'm dumb, so I'm gonna
Salt.
refer to you.
It was salt.
Cause see, I miss those things. Those are the
I
lines that always go over
my
my head.
my thing was maybe they were like, this looks too similar to Hoth. We need to throw a line in here where we inform the audience that this is not snow.
Oh
This is
God,
salt.
please no.
So let's just have one random guy go, that's weird, and then he picks the salt off the fucking floor and goes, salt.
That's dumb. I was
Yeah.
waiting for like, oh, there's a chemical composition they're gonna use, and they're gonna make this explosion, and it's gonna have a chain reaction. It's gonna get them out of there
That would be
scot-free.
not intelligent. That'd be the an interesting use of the planet being made of salt. Yes.
Right. Well, it turned red too underneath. I thought was really cool. Like,
Yeah, it was like visually it looked cool, but like it would add another layer if the salt actually came in handy or did something to
Right.
help the
'Cause-
aid of their battle to stall or something. Like
right.
you could
Because
find
if not,
something.
that scene
You
does
could-
nothing.
Yeah, you could find some bullshit that like, oh, how? Let me think of some chemical composition that comes from, or not composition, but some chemical that we can make from salt using jet fuel or something, like
Right.
bringing back the fuel and shit into the fucking story. That'd be another layer and stuff like that. But no, like we're just gonna, yeah,
Right.
we're
Even
gonna
if you
tell you
make
it's
it,
salt. So
even if you make it anime as fuck, right?
yeah,
We set it on fire, and it's sodium chloride. So now there's chlorine gas, and they're choking to death. It's like cool. None of that makes sense in the real world physically, but
yeah.
it's cool if you talk like that. You know what I mean?
Or hear me out. You can add another timer to them coming out if we're gonna do the chlorine gas or the sodium whatever gas, the poisonous gas. You can have the first order do it, and then start blasting at the ship. So that whenever they make the hole in the or not the ship but the base, if they just make any kind of crack in the base, it'll seep into the base.
Right.
Giving us even more of a timer and more tension and stuff
And
like
it
that.
actually is really cool because while it's filling up with the gas and people are like getting
And then you
choked-
can have a reason for somebody saying the planet is the surface of the planet is 80% salt or some shit like that. Like instead of just
Right.
having one random guy go salt.
Right, and it goes deeper than that because then you have a reason you can get rid of those dogs, and you have a reason for them to scramble towards the back and say, "I see an airflow back here. It means there
Yeah,
has to be a way out."
Exactly.
And it's like, oh shit! Now they can escape through the back door that they didn't know was there, and then that's when maybe they have like a blaster or something. Or Ray does come to save them. I don't know how but you can put that together, right?
Yeah, you can do some kind of shit. Either they're
But-
trying to hold up, or they're trying to seal the exit, or seal the hole, or they're trying to escape through the hole. Either one
Right.
works out as long as you write around it,
Right,
whichever
right.
way you want to do it. So, like, yeah, but no, we just had to have a random guy go salt.
Right. So yeah, lines like that are I normally throw those away, and I don't pay attention
Yeah.
to them. Then they come back as
It's
part of the
unnecessary.
story.
It's useless, but it was whatever. Some people find it funny. So
Right. Because normally those mean something, like we're talking about. Normally those are the ones you're like mentioning something. I'm like, huh, I never got that. You're like, the dude mentions it midway through the movie. He says, weird. This fire glows like this. And I was
Yeah.
and like, that's the kind of shit that I'll miss. I'm like, yeah, I thought he was just talking about the fire.
yeah, that's the shit I hate because I'll see something like that and be like, why was that given attention?
Right.
Like the kid who in episode 3, the random fucking teenager who was saving Bail Organa, and I was like, why was that given so much attention? And
Right.
like for years, I wondered that. Never bothered to look it up until like we started doing this, and I said, that was George Lucas's son. Really? That's the only reason.
You got it though. You knew there was something.
Yeah.
But nah. So that it was okay though, as far as so the battle happens. Oh yeah, their defense, I guess. I don't know what they planned on doing because I didn't see any guns on those speeders. Did any of them shoot?
They
any-
had guns. They had guns. We
Did
saw
they?
them. We saw Finn's melt as he was running into the one that was already.
You're
about to
right.
shoot.
They did have guns. Okay, because I was like, I didn't see any of them defend themselves at all, and that would have been really weird when he's talking about it was a suicide mission, and it was like, yes, that's what we planned on doing? Question mark. We didn't
Yeah,
have guns.
they're planning on running straight towards it and then shooting it and then pulling out of the way. But then since his were like already melting, he's like, well, I gotta just
They're
go all the way
blasters.
in.
They can shoot it from. It's a laser.
It has a limited range.
Since when?
Always.
No, they be shooting blasters from all kinds of places.
They are stronger at a closer distance.
I'll give you that, maybe. Because they have to travel through the atmosphere and they lose energy as they travel. Okay.
Exactly.
I'll give you that one a little bit. But did that base
So
also
they have to run straight towards the middle of it.
Did you not see those giant cannons that they were shooting that had full power when they hit the AT-ATs?
We don't talk about that. We got to do this cool suicide mission.
Because those giant cannons got more firepower.
But we have to pay off. What the hell's his name? Poe's story arc about pulling out when you need to, or when you don't need to fight.
No, because that was also not the time. That's also why Rose ruined the whole movie and the whole scene. Because the one character who was like correct in that scene, who actually this is their character leaps turning into an actual arc, it was fucking Finn. He finally was like, you know what? He hadn't seen Rey. I don't think he knew Rey was there. No, because she had showed up and took the guys away. So I guess technically that was enough. No, he had met her earlier, right? Because they had the hug, right? Or that was after.
Yeah, they had the wait.
That hug, like they were lost long.
Yeah, because she showed up in the Falcon and we went, yeah. Wait. No, she showed up before the Falcon, right?
No, because Chewie picked her back up, which is also weird. Okay. No, they couldn't. No, they couldn't have met because Rey was not there. Rey was not in that scene at all.
No, that was Chewie in the Falcon.
Chewie was in the Falcon, but
she showed up.
Rey was in the Falcon with her because Chewie dropped her off at the Dreadnought, ran around in circles for a little bit, came back and picked her up.
Yeah, because we were scanning for life, right?
Yeah, so they didn't know anyone was there, so she has not seen Finn at this point.
No.
So Finn has no idea that she's in the...
Because Finn didn't see her until he saw her with the rocks.
Right. And that was when they had the hug. Okay. Yeah. So, yes. In this situation, I don't know if maybe he knew or thought that that was her in the Falcon. Maybe. But maybe I want to say that he... because he knew she left in the Falcon, so fair enough, he thinks she's back. That gave him enough conviction to say, well, you know what? The love of my fucking life is here, and I die for her. I'm being dramatic, making fun. I shouldn't do that.
He probably. That's probably what he's
But so at least I'm the whole love of my life bullshit is way too much, and I'm still not happy about it. But I think it was enough that he just saw her, right? He just seen she's there, she's not dead. That he could say, you know what? I'm gonna commit to the resistance after all these people died, after all the shit I've been through, and even some of the growing he was supposed to have done with what's her name on that planet. She was supposed to open his eyes, right, to the corruption of the world.
How dare you assume his gender?
It was a little preachy, but she opened his eyes to the corruption, and now he finally has a chance to fight for something and to fucking, make his moment to save all those people. And then she just ruins it. Just completely undercuts it. Just nope. And the worst part I have about it is it's fucking stupid in-world, in logic. Because if you think about it, that was their last chance. That was it. There was no other chances. And not only that, she showed in the beginning of the movie, she idolizes heroes. Mm-hmm. Her sister even sacrificed herself so everyone could survive.
Well, her character arc was realizing that you're not going to save the war or win the rebellion by sacrificing yourself for those you love.
Yes,
Instead,
you are.
Saving the people you love.
No.
I don't know how that character arc came about.
Right, but fuck that. It's not even an arc, it's just a fucking... This is what
she says at the end of the movie, so I assume that's what her character arc was supposed to be.
I don't know, but that line was terrible, because it's not true. Fighting what you... When did she fight what she hated? When did that ever happen, number one? And then saving what you loved, when did she love him? Like...
in this movie, have you not been watching? Clearly,
she didn't like him! She was gonna throw him in the brig! She said, you're a fucking coward! She fell in love
with him when she shocked him with the taser. She realized how good that felt. I mean,
Oh my god! Yeah, that shit is too fucking much. And I get what you meant, right? It's one of those things. I understand what you mean, but now is not the context or the situation or anything else that has to do with this at all.
But it was beautifully shot, Trey.
Again,
with the laser in the background while they were kissing.
Yep, this is it. This is what I talk about since the beginning of this fucking 3-hour discussion on how terrible this is people just write fucking scenes without any forethought. Or pre-thought as to what has already came before it, what is coming after it, nothing. Just, this scene would be really good. Let's fucking put it in there right now. No context needed.
It
It's
was
fucking
beautiful.
awful. It's fucking awful. She literally doomed them all. She doomed all of them because they.
Honestly, like she should have just let Finn go in there because that would have been the best fucking shot. If we're okay, not best case, worst case scenario, but yeah, worst case scenario. Would she fuck? No, that's not right because that means that'd be it'd be hard for that to happen. Uh, it when her running into Finn is very very lucky that they both survived that.
Also,
Um,
yes.
if anything, it would much like if she like rammed her ship into his, one of them would die
Right.
at best.
Right. She didn't. That's another thing too. She didn't think about. I didn't even consider that. She would have killed him. Thinking about it, it's like a car crash, right?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
what the
save my
fuck?
boyfriend. He's gonna run into this fucking
It
this
is
building.
very miraculous that he survived her running into him.
Right. You don't T-bone someone's car because you're trying to stop them from running into a wall.
Exactly.
Like, no, yeah, it's awful. And also, how the fuck did she catch up? She had split off with the group much earlier.
Maybe he
Does
slowed down.
does hers have a turbo? No. He even went faster.
She had the power of love.
Yeah, that's the power of love. Yeah, clearly. It's bullshit. It's fucking bullshit. None of it makes sense. It just ruined the whole fucking movie. Because realistically, that's what needed
Anime
to
logic.
happen.
Power. What was that? What did Common say? Willpower.
Yeah, sure. We're gonna combine.
Yeah.
That shit is ridiculous, dude. I can't. Yeah. Under no circumstances her character even makes sense for that. Because
okay.
she knows like this is the sacrifice that has to be done because she already knows that there's no other way to stop this cannon. And she respects heroes.
She loves Finn.
Her sister sacrificed herself and was a war hero, and she knew.
But she knew that when her sister sacrificed herself, she was saddened by her sister's death. So if Finn dies, imagine how many people will be sad.
No.
Yes.
Like, I get her not wanting it to happen, right? I would have been totally great with the fucking emotional outburst of her, like, slamming the fucking thing, like, you can't do it! But not stopping, right? Because it's what you do, you're emotional. But no one knew there was a safeguard coming. No one knew there was a safe way out. That was the only hope they had left, and she completely sacrificed it in a super selfish way from anyone else even, like, being safe. It's just, because imagine this. Now, it's in the moment, right? Maybe you're not thinking clearly, but you do that, they bust open the door, and everyone's dead. Who did you save?
Yeah. Finn?
No, he's dead too. They're going. What you think? They're not going to kill him? Like,
they can escape.
Oh, sure. Let me wreck his car, almost kill him, if not kill him, and then both our cars are wrecked. We're going to walk off this salt planet.
Yes.
With no civilization for miles.
Yes.
No, it's fucking irrational and stupid and makes no sense. And I like emotion, right? I love when characters act out of what's good for the plot or what's good for the team because of their emotions.
Yeah.
Like when Star-Lord lost it and literally fucking caused
that made perfect sense.
The end.
That made perfect sense.
It did. It made perfect sense because it was like he's gonna do that as a character. He's gonna do that. It's him. Like, he's already way too emotional. We've already had so much time with him to know his likes, his dislikes. We know this is his family, essentially. That literally is the love of his life. Like, no. The comparison between the two, you could just really tell, like, they did this so poorly. And it just sucked. Anyway, so the next thing that sucked really bad.
We're done with Rose. No more Rose.
Yeah, Rose sucks, thank God. I hope did she come back? I hope she doesn't come back in the next one.
I don't think she's back in the next one.
Good God, please don't, dude.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, she is. But she's not a main character.
Oh, cool. Because I know he falls in love with some other random chick who didn't... You're a stormtrooper? Me too. Let's finish their sentences. Yes. That's another thing. I don't know if they actually do that, but I was going to make a joke about that. If I fucking watch this third one, and there's a forced love or family interest or whatever they did with, like, because they did, like, Han and...
Oh, right. It wasn't... It's not a love quadrilateral. It's a love pentagon.
Right, which they introduced at the end with
no,
Poe.
Because Finn loves two different ones, so it would be it would be a pentagon. There you go, perfect.
The love pentagon.
We love it.
Let's see if we can get to a dodecahedron. Just keep adding shit. But yeah, so it's like I was gonna make a joke. If I have to see other people finish each other's fucking sentences to show their connection on the third one, I'm gonna be fucking. I'm gonna lose it.
But it's such an easy way of doing it.
It's so fucking cheap and so stupid. Don't ever do that.
So we're gonna talk about Luke showing up.
Yes,
the
Luke
force
showing up.
projection and giving. Well, I guess he's not a force projection, right? He's physical because he gave Leia the dice.
Shh. Don't. Just don't.
Maybe he used the force to move the dice to look like Luke is holding the dice.
Bro, no.
He's.
How did they? You know what? You know what? You know what? You know what? We're good. He is so powerful in the Force, just like Snoke. He can use the interdimensional teleport shit.
There we go. He teleported the dice through space and time using the force.
Yes, just
Boom.
like that. Just like that water that Snoke did, and also
Exactly.
Kylo's entire body.
Exactly. Perfect. We got it.
So,
We know.
yeah,
we
we're
know
good.
how this works.
Continuity.
Okay.
Continuity checks out.
He brings the dice from the Millennium Falcon that were so precious to Han.
Right.
Leia.
Why did he have those?
He found them on the Millennium Falcon whenever when he was like walking around the Millennium Falcon when it was on his planet.
Oh, okay.
That was actually a scene when he was reminiscing on the planet.
You know what she did with them? My favorite part of this whole interaction.
He left them behind.
She threw them on the floor. She didn't just leave them behind. Kylo walks in, bends all the way over to the floor, and picks up these dice. And I say, you know what? You're getting 0 credit for this. Because even if she wanted to leave them behind for Kylo in some dramatic thing to bring him to the light, even if that's what you're going for, I'm totally okay with that. She could have put him on the fucking desk or something. Put him on the table. Nope. On the floor.
I mean, to be fair, in my experience, girls don't typically like presents if you keep any presents from your ex-girlfriends, because those dice were from Kira. Is that her name? Kira gave those to Han in the fucking Solo movie.
Right. So maybe that's it. She was like, you know what? Fuck these dice. She just threw them down.
Also, this movie came out before Solo, so what the fuck, movie?
Bro, did it really?
Yeah, it came out the year before Solo. Granted, they planned Solo.
But no. So as the viewer, I have no idea what the fuck those, because I didn't know what those were. Like, I know now on our rewatch, but I had no idea the first time. And they didn't even explain it.
No.
This is mind-boggling. This is genuinely mind-boggling. Like,
we had Force Awakens, we had Rogue One, then we had this movie, and then we had Solo.
So they just put like 3 separate scenes with pretty high importance and didn't explain any of it.
Nope.
So my dumb ass is supposed to understand that those were Han's dice?
They were on the Millennium Falcon since A New Hope. You see
You
it?
tell me one person who watched A New Hope and noticed those dice the first time who isn't a super fan. Because I think even diehard, because there's like there's like fans, there's casuals fans, super fans, diehard fans, and extreme fans, right?
Yes.
So the extreme fans, maybe there's a small chance. The diehard fans, slim chance that they would have actually said, what was that set piece? What is that random set piece in the background? Is that important at all? But I'll give a little bit credit to maybe some of those.
It's in the front. It's on his rearview mirror.
Sure. I don't think anybody would have remembered that shit, so fuck them. That's just terrible writing. That's even worse. That might be one of the worst bits because they're not even thinking about how their movies are going to release. Somebody somewhere told them, oh, those dice are important, I'm writing it for Han. And they just put it in there? Like, without any context? That's just ridiculous, dude. I gotta get out of here. I can't. We gotta finish this up.
But we watched Solo the following year and found out why those dice were important, Trey.
No, that made the movie already shitty. You can't just it's like DLC, right? Well, this game fucking sucks. Just come back in a couple years. There's DLC.
Yeah.
No. We do not need DLC for our movies.
But you like DLC for video games, why not DLC for movies?
I like DLC when it's implemented well and good. And I can play the first Solo game by myself and don't need the DLC to enjoy.
What about that fight with Luke and I thought it was pretty cool looking.
It was cool. That wasn't a real fight. He just
Very,
dodged a
very
couple swings.
well. I mean, yeah, but it was like a really like the way it was shot. It was very like again. He shoots beautifully. Again,
Right. Yeah,
Ryan
it was
Johnson's
really
great.
good.
He's a very beautiful director.
Right.
Well, weird. I called him beautiful. He shoots his movies beautifully.
Right.
There you go.
One thing I did not like about that whole scene, though, again, the more shit that just fucking sucks. He was a fucking Finn. We need to get out there. We need to go fight. I was kind of okay with that because by now his character is in that direction.
Yeah.
Still don't necessarily believe how long it took him. Still the gaps. I don't know. I'm not. That's whatever. So that shit's cool. But then Poe, wait, just wait a minute. He's doing something. He's buying us time. That was his plan from the beginning. What? How do you know that?
Because Holdo taught him that don't fucking question what I'm doing. I'm just yes.
No. Not only does that
I'm doing something for a reason.
Not only is that shitty, but number two, what if they never figured it out? Then what? What if they're just sitting there expecting Luke to win that fight?
Maybe he shouldn't suck.
Well, that's what
Didn't he learn from Holdo? Didn't he learn from Holdo? She taught him.
You have a living legend who people revere as like a.
Again, the fucking thing I said. Tell your subordinates the plan.
Right. No one knew about that.
Hey, I'm gonna go out there. I'm buying you time. I'm not gonna be able to hold all these off.
Right.
They would have immediately went to go fucking find the fucking exit.
Right. Because if Poe never figures that out and they're expecting him to win that fight...
It's just a way to try to make, on the surface, it looks like Holdo's plan all over again. Like, oh, Poe has learned.
Do you think so? What? That's what we're going for?
That's what they were going. 100%. That's what they were going for.
Oh shit!
Otherwise, it wouldn't have been Poe. It would have been someone else saying it. But it was specifically Poe because Poe is the one who learned the lesson of let's not just rush to conclusions and do random shit.
God, that's so bad.
Right?
That's so bad. I appreciate you for fucking noticing that though, because nope, that would have went over my fucking head completely. It's really terrible, but at least they were trying something.
They were trying something, but it was terrible from the start.
Right. So what's worse, if they just didn't try that, or if they try it and it's terrible? Is it better to be an artist with a vision and then you fuck your painting up, or to just not paint at all?
I'm gonna go with trying and fucking it up.
Right. I think that's objectively the better way. The landing definitely sucks, and throughout this entire movie, all the writing sucks.
But the premise of what they were going for was already dumb in the first place.
That's true. That's the problem.
The fucking toe the line. Don't fucking second guess your superiors. What? What kind of message is that?
Right. It is a weird message too, compared to like.
They are the rebellion. What they're doing as a unit is rebelling against their authority.
Right. They're literally criminals. Not to mention, if you think about that as a nutshell, it's to draw back to how great the message from Luke was, or from Yoda to Luke about the Horizon.
Yeah.
If you look at the situation he was in, she's standoffish, she's bitchy, she's rude, she's condescending, and she looks objectively to everyone else like she's setting them up to all die and not doing her job.
Yep.
But the message is always listen to your superiors, no matter how incompetent or arrogant or stupid they are.
Exactly.
No, that's not a good message at all.
No.
That's really fucking bad. So yeah, no, that's why this is worse. So no, it was better if they wouldn't have done that. So in this case, because they were recreating art that was already terrible, it was better to have not painted at all.
Okay.
If we're
fight was sick. Kylo. They escape. They run to the back and they couldn't do anything. They literally still had to wait for Rey.
Which is weird. I imagine they would have had guns or cannons or fucking like just start moving them with your hands.
You're thinking too much. Rey shows up and saves them. It's all good.
They could have even got like some sticks, get some metal sticks and start prying them open. Nothing. No. Oh my god, there's rocks.
Doesn't Leia have the Force? Didn't we just see
Leia also has the Force, yes. Fuck that. More bad writing, dude. God, we can't, dude. This is awful. I'm so sorry for this movie and everyone who's had to watch it. I'm playing. I'm actually playing, and this is also the issue. This is I can
Uh,
see like right now because I think we're about to be wrapped up soon. Um,
yeah. Um,
this is about where what do you call it? Why reviewers are just shitheads and why I don't like most of them.
yeah.
Or like movie critics and stuff. This is why I can't stand almost all of them. This is why you should listen to us a little bit with a grain of salt, and why I do try and
If you love it, man. But
right,
like,
and I usually try and stop myself and say it wasn't that bad. Or for example, I've defended this movie completely throughout all of my bitching with it was good on the first watch, and I think if you're not as critical and don't care about these things, you might even give it a second watch because it's not
still
that this
enjoyable.
movie.
I mean, shit,
Yeah,
I give it a second watch.
it's not egregious. It's not like this movie's so
I
terrible.
think it's the third time I watched this movie.
But
Not
it's just
sure.
these are the things that I think should be addressed because these are the kind of things that people will notice, right? And even if they can't articulate themselves well on what they did and didn't like or whatever, they're gonna notice these things and they're gonna bitch and they're gonna just complain and they're not gonna like your movie. So it's
Yeah.
like you got to discuss these things openly, because if it is bad, it's bad because we have evidence to support other people and other movies that have done these things well. So
Mhm.
that's also the issue because that's the thing. It's not egregious, but if you look at the standard, like when we talked about Leia, in 4 versus purple-haired lady, Honda or whatever,
Holdo.
Holdo. If we talk about Holdo and all of her character development, all of her personality and everything else, all that shit, if you compare it to something that was really well done, it just does not stand up. And since we know, and this is also, you have to hold these people accountable. They're writers, they're artists, they're people, they're directors, they're people who should have credibility to understand good filmmaking and good storytelling. So that's also why it kind of matters.
Nah, it was just a paycheck. I feel like
Um,
that's what it was for Ryan Johnson because he's a fantastic director. Um,
right, and that's why I was thinking earlier, because you were mentioning all this other stuff. I'm like, well, maybe he just didn't care. Maybe he also didn't have as much freedom as we want to give credit for, right?
I mean,
Uh,
supposedly he was a fan. He said something about being a fan when he got fucking hired on, but I mean, maybe he was just tuning it out. I don't, or just like, oh, well, here's all this money, or maybe if Disney had his hands tied and were like, here, you can't do this, you can't do that. You
right, that's
never
what I was
know.
meaning, right? I was thinking, what
Yeah,
if there was some other force at Disney who was like, nope,
right.
we want this scene, we want this scene, this character has to do this character has to do that.
Maybe
Because there
potentially.
could have been the powers that be. Because given, I think number one was not very well received, was it?
No, the Force Awakens was very well received.
Oh, okay.
I was the outlier who was like, it's not that good.
Well, I didn't like it that much. I thought it was cool, but I was like, I don't know. A lot of my friends, I feel like everyone was like,
I think
it's just
all my friends liked it. And
really.
then you're overly positive, or, overall were positive about it. So I was like, oh, so it must be really, really, really amazing. And maybe it fucked with my expectations. So when I finally saw it, like a year and a half later, I was like, yeah, that was okay.
Yeah, I guess. And my first review for most movies is much higher than my second
Yeah,
usually.
yeah.
Actually, my first review on anything, dude. And this is historical, guys. If you guys are listening, never, ever listen to my first take. You always get to
I
try
loved your
second
first,
take.
second, and fourth take of Breath of the Wild.
Oh, baby, those takes are. Whew, those takes had some growing to do.
It was like a pinball machine. I was like, "Where's this going?"
Right, now you never take my first
But
takes because my first take is usually just all emotion, all of it, just raw, unbridled emotion, which is why I usually overrate movies, or underrate some things. Because if I had a bad time, I'm gonna underrate the shit out of it, and if I had a good time, I'm gonna overrate the shit out of it. So I think I
yeah,
did have fun with number 1 or 7, but
yeah,
I don't. I remember me and other people complaining about it, like, oh, it's just the same thing. It's just, oh, remember this? It's just A New Hope again.
yeah.
Uh, and I do remember those criticisms and kind of agreeing with them. But overall, I didn't think the movie was shit or
I know my
bad.
brain was too. I was way too overcritical of it because on my second rewatch or my second watch, I was like, "Yo, this is a lot better than I remember." I'm gonna
Right,
have to bump it up a few notches.
right. Oh, before we get too lost, I guess was there anything left? They do that. The Luke die scene was
Ray
cool.
does the rock stuff. She fucking hugs Finn. Poe meets Ray
Which was,
for the
yeah, they
first time.
introduced. He was like, "Hey, I'm Poe. Hey, I'm
Yeah,
Ray."
that was so weird to me. I'm like, this is the end of the second movie. Like,
Right. Had they not ever met at all before?
no, because at the end of the last one, she left.
But she was at the base with them.
Yeah, but she left.
No, but she was literally like, he was in the huddle with Chewie.
Was he?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Because they came back from their mission, and then she had the weird hug with Leia that didn't make sense to me, and then Chewie's in the huddle with all the soldiers. He would have been in that huddle because he was leaving the battlefield with the Falcon.
I had to go back and rewatch, but I don't think he was.
Where would he have been?
Well, he was on an X-wing during that mission, fighting, shooting the things, and then whenever they came back, he was probably still near his X-wing.
Okay, but
maybe they didn't establish that Poe was going to be a main character until they did Episode 2, so then they had to. But like Rey had already left, so they had to have him introduce himself.
It's not impossible. It just seems weird that they wouldn't have came up, because she would have been there for at least a day or two while she was preparing to go see Luke. They would have had to repair the Falcon. They would have had to refuel it. They would have had to do all these things. It would have been at least a day or two, if not a week, that she would have been there. And those two would have never came into contact.
Yeah, because I think they were trying to do the whole history rhymes like George Lucas does, and they were gonna have a trio, because like the first one had a trio. It was Han, Luke, and Leia, and then the trio in the prequels was Obi-Wan, Padme, and Anakin. So this one's trio would have been Finn, Rey, and Kylo.
Weird.
So I think that they were going for that as the trio, but then they walked it back for this movie and made it Poe part of the trio. But then for the next movie, they're like a group of 5 people.
Right.
I mean, they even added Rose into the group in this one, so they were trying to do like weird.
Too much.
I don't know.
They're doing too much because they needed plot devices. That's the thing. Like, if you look throughout this movie, we need someone to stop Poe from escaping, but it can't be, or Finn from escaping. It can't be Poe though, because he's already tied up in his own plot, so he can't go on the adventure with him.
Honestly, they probably could have done some kind of plot, like what I was saying about the plot between Poe and Leia. That could have been resolved fairly early, with her telling him that he needs to fucking calm down, and then her hearing about this plan from him and Finn, writing Rose completely out of the movie, and then Poe and Finn go on the mission.
Right.
And then Leia, by the end, handing the torch off to Poe after he went on this mission to redeem himself to Leia.
Right, which would have been good.
Yes, but it's fine. They wanted to add more characters.
Yeah, it just the characters sucked.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess that's all. Like, I'm getting tired too. I gotta eat dinner. I haven't eaten this evening.
Do all the things. Like, subscribe.
Whoa! We're not done. We didn't give ratings. We gotta go through our.
Oh my god! I forgot. It's a 4 out of 5. I mean, 4 out of 5. Jesus, 4 out of 10. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I wanted. You know what's funny? I wanted to give it a 4 out of 10, but then I was like, man, I gave She-Hulk a 4 out of 10, and that's the lowest thing I've ever given anything ever, and I don't think it deserves to be down there with She-Hulk.
I've rated some stuff below this, honestly.
I think She-Hulk really, though, She-Hulk had a lot of really good moments. So, like, there's a lot that brought that movie back for me, or that show back for me. So I think overall, a 4, I think is appropriate, because I would put it in a similar category. No, not the similar category. Kind of. Because the She-Hulk category, at this time, the 4 out of 10 means that you really fucked everything up all the time, and your writing was fucking awful. But the show objectively...
For you, that probably makes sense.
But objectively, it had potential, right? Mm-hmm. The plot in this movie was fine. The characters in She-Hulk were fine, some of them. The plot could have been better. So, like, I think overall, if you look at... That's why they both kind of get this treatment, is that they both could... I want to give this a 5. I'm going to give it a 5.
You give 5? I'm going to give it a 4. And before anybody goes, you said you wouldn't rewatch anything that you'd give a 4. I rewatched this for you guys, not for me. Anything I
did. Hold on, guys. We got them on tape, though. We got you on tape just 20 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd give it a rewatch.
Probably did. I don't know, said that. Honestly, I may have.
We got him, boys. Put him on a YouTube short.
Yeah. I take it back. I'd rewatch it if someone put it on. There you go.
Right. That's why I give it a 5 because I don't think I'd go out of my way to rewatch it.
I wouldn't go out of my way to turn it on. I definitely would watch it again. If I go over to like Jameson's house and he has it on, I'm like, okay. Yeah.
Right. Same.
But I wouldn't initiate the rewatch. Let me
Right.
rephrase that. Walk that one back.
That's fair. And I think overall, that's why I had to put it above She-Hulk because I would never even tell someone to watch She-Hulk. I don't even want to go rewatch
maybe
it.
I'd probably have to go all the way down to a 2 or a 1 for a movie that if I walked in and it was on, I'd walk away.
God, that's be pretty fucking abysmal.
I've never rated a movie a 1 or a 2. So.
Right. I don't think it's possible. I would never give it like that low.
3.5 is the lowest I think I've ever given.
Right. 4 is definitely the lowest I've given anything ever.
So that's why I'm okay with giving this a 4. Maybe a 4.5. I'll go with 4.5. Makes more sense.
Right. Because if you do turn your brain off and just watch,
yeah, it's not
it's
bad.
good. It's a solid movie. If you turn your brain off and just watch, and like especially
it's hard to do that for me. I don't know.
Same. I mean, my brain doesn't work that much, but there was enough like. Because I'm not as critical most of the time.
There's a difference between like so like there's movies that are schlocky and they're supposed to be schlocky, and that's fine. I will accept that if they know that they're schlocky movies. I love it. I'll probably rate it higher than I would a movie that I need to turn my brain off to enjoy.
Right.
Because
something like a Slither.
Slither is good.
I don't know. That's like my genre.
I'm talking about Zombievers. They know that shit's schlock. They know that
okay, so
making
you're one step farther. Okay. Okay, that's like the Sharknado tier.
Yeah, no, they know what they're making, so that's fine. I'll probably rate something like Sharknado and Zombievers a 5.
Got you. See, yeah, I guess I put them in. I guess there was because at least
Star Wars. I would say this movie is trying to be compelling and artistic in its failing. So I'm not.
That does matter, right? And that's why I was like attributed to like an action film where it just feels like shit just happens and you're along for the ride. But they didn't give me the
Mario
ride.
movie is not compelling. It's not fucking like crazy. It's just a popcorn movie. It's a thrilling, fun kids movie. It knows that's what it is. So I'll probably rate that even higher than I would a movie of the same caliber.
Right.
That's trying to be artistic, right?
Because that is the problem too, and that's how you have to rate movies as well too. Because I have some people that I talk to, they'll say like, "Oh, well, this movie wasn't good because I wasn't stimulated by this movie," right?
Yeah.
And he rates things a little bit lower. He was like, "Yeah, if I don't leave with something else, I generally don't like those movies and don't want to watch those movies. I prefer something else." And I was like, "I don't know, that seems unfair." I was like, "You don't like just 80s action films or like anything like that?" I was like, "Those movies are fucking awesome." He was like, "Yeah, no, I'm probably not going to go out of my way to watch those. Those are pretty terrible." I'm like, "What do you mean pretty?" He was like, "Look at this, the plot and this and that." And he pulled.
Oh, they know what they are. I'm good with it.
Right. It's almost like Kentario, right? Because I was talking to Kentario about what do you call it? Action films. He doesn't like them. He even said he didn't like Taken. I was like, "What? That's a really good one." He was like, "There was a car chase." I was like, "Yeah." He was like, I was like, "What's wrong with car chases?"
That's not his genre.
But he doesn't like. He thinks it's unfulfilling because when he watches it, there's literally nothing going on. You don't even have to use your brain at all. It's like, oh, bad guys, gunshots, explosions, damsel in distress, like James Bond style movies.
He doesn't like the raw just action. He likes the motivations. He likes the character psychologies. So
see, I like those too, and I do.
It's weird because he also likes goofy dumb shit. So never mind. I take it back.
Right. I don't know. Anyway, this is the third time short story long as we were ending.
We're leaving.
We are leaving.
Do the things.
We finished up our We finished up our ratings.
Feed our boy Trey so he can do this for the rest of his life.
Yeah, right. Could you imagine? We'd have to get millions and millions of fucking views.
Yeah, we can do it.
Got it. Pretty crazy. But then we'll get a webcam eventually. If we do that, we'll get like a studio and we'll actually do it in person. You can see our faces and everything.
I'm gonna wear a mask.
Bro, you could. That'd be kind of cool, right?
It's gonna be a Jesus mask.
Dang. Is that culturally appropriate? Are you allowed to do that?
Yeah, I'm Jesus.
Oh, okay, cool.
My bad. Okay, it's a Jesus mask, not a Jesus mask. I'm not Israeli. Wait, not Israeli. Where was he from? Iraq.
Well, like and subscribe.
Do the likes, the subscribes, I'm brown.
Stuff.
It's okay.
Tell your friends, and most importantly, always think critically. Watch movies, enjoy them, don't enjoy them.
Don't take anything we say as fact. Go watch the movie yourself.
Also, yes, if you listen to all this and you haven't seen the Star Wars whatever 8, you have a problem. Because if you listen to this and you heard all this, you're gonna think, holy shit, that movie's fucking terrible. I'll never watch that. But if no, it's good. Go watch it. At least every movie we ever review deserves one watch, and if it doesn't, we'll explicitly say that. I feel like, and it's very rare.
Yeah. So it's the only time we've done it is when Trey said JoJo is not worth the watch. JoJo.
I never said that,
show.
dude. I've never said that at all. It's a good show, but I do think it's way too.
You just said
overhyped.
if it's on this show, it deserves one watch. JoJo was gonna be on this show. You said we're not doing JoJo.
It's not that we're not doing it. I just haven't got to finish season 2. I think I'm in the middle of season 2, and I just don't. It's not good enough for me to want to keep watching. I'm sorry, it's not compelling.
I got you.
But if I ever do finish season 2 or 3 or whatever, maybe I'll force my way through it, and we'll get there, and you guys will get your review.
I don't think JoJo is required reading. Someone will stab me. But
it's not. It's good. I think it's. I don't know. It's. I want to say it's a classic, right? So because technically, it is a classic.
It's a manga classic. It's definitely not an anime classic.
Well, right, but that's why I'm giving it like the classic kind of push.
Yeah.
Because I would say that most classics are a must-watch or a must-read, right? Things like Yu Yu, things like Kenshin, Dragon Ball. It's like
Cowboy Bebop.
Of course, but those are all fucking gems. Every moment of those is like, I need more. I have to see what's going on.
Unless
Except
you hate
Kenshin.
Shonen.
Kenshin's a little bit.
If you don't like Shonen, then I guess Shonen isn't a genre, but whatever, it doesn't matter. If you don't like what Shonen usually does in there, So
JoJo's it's too much never too much spectacle. That is what makes the show great. The spectacle is literally the best part.
It's the selling point.
But that's the problem. It's almost 80% spectacle and 20% substance. That's why it's hard for me to get through it. Is I'm usually not in the mood for just spectacle.
Yeah.
So it's hard for me to power through it versus something like Dragon Ball where it's like a good 50-50. It's like, oh, cool, the spectacle's here, but there's enough to keep me in the background to keep going. Yu Yu's just phenomenal. It's all spectacle, all best storytelling, everything.
I was just making a joke. We're signing off. You gotta go eat.
I do. I'm fucking starving, bro. We've been like 4 hours.
I know. I thought this was gonna be quick. I thought this was gonna be quick. I didn't think we were gonna take so long.
So it's been lunchtime. So I'm going like 8 hours. I haven't eaten since.
Go eat a super lunch.
I'm gonna go eat a fucking super duper dinner or something. I don't know. I got some meal prep in the fridge. But yeah, love you guys. Always think critically. Always watch stuff for yourself. And we'll see you next time.
Yeah.